Hey everyone, happy Thursday. I know we have a few birthdays. I recall people saying yesterday their birthdays today. Happy birthday to everybody. It is also two of my loved ones' birthdays. So happy birthday, fall birthdays, everybody. Crystal Burns, good morning. And people are nosy, aren't they? I mean, to be honest, I'm nosy too, but gee, Lord, who would have known a phone call would set the streets on fire? I couldn't believe it. So many people. So many people. Huh. I wonder if we clocked everybody's phone calls. You know what I mean? Like, well, who'd you talk to? Silly people. Anyway, it's good to see all of you. Hello, hello, Captain Ganja, Bayou Babe, Andy C, Small Town Girl, Gary, Aristocrat, Cheryl, Kathy, Sweet, Mama Michelle. I know people don't really care for my good mornings, but hey, KCG, just a mom. She's always acting a fool. Hey, St. Elmo, it's good to see you. Yeah, you just saw it. I can't believe the audacity of some of these people. It cracks me up. So we can get that out of the way really quick. Hey, Keisha. Hey, Gypsy Trails. Winnie the Pup. Hello, SoFlo. Naysayer. Crescent. Kelly Mack. I don't want to miss anybody. Good morning, Janet. So, hey, Sin. Scooter, Renee, and Nosy Bish. Angel Chips, Jason, Crystal P. So you got her over there, right? I don't know why she's so pressed on what I do, but she's lying, saying that I'm lying. She's lying and saying that I said that I was never on the phone with Chris, that it was just email. That is not what I said. Hey, tattoos, glitters forever. Remy, that's not what I said. I said it started off as an email. I had no idea what it was going to become. So I don't know why she always just has to lie, but it's annoying. Kind of tired of it, to be honest. Why I don't really acknowledge her, but you know. And then the whole like, why does it matter? Right. Hey, Diana, Lala, 505 things. And then the whole like view thing. To be honest, I have a significantly less subs than her. I get similar, if not the same, views. I have much more active chat without everybody being bought or blocked or whatever it may be. I don't go live as long. And analytically, if anybody knows anything about analytics, I mean, right there's, just the matter of not going live as long or as often. So to talk about my views, and when was the last time she touched a topic that nobody knew about? Right. So, I digress, but I think it's funny that she always just projects her feelings. So that's my response to you. Check out analytics and come back to me, Tuts. All right. I will not be helping your holiday grift this year. I'm just making that very clear. Ah, exactly, Keisha. You know it. Hey, One Red Rose. And I do it on my own. Hey, Snazzy Trinkets. Half sour. She does. She does. She just wants to hear what she hears. Hey, Mr. Blue. When you when you kill crackhead hours every night, your brain must not be able to comprehend. Hey, Mustang Sally, Lulu. I do. I just think, I don't think people realize that, but the longer your lives, the more views you're going to have. I mean, that's just, you know, and who really, like, first off, that's like saying, show me what you got, is stupid. We are grown folks. I'm not sitting here comparing views like a toddler. I also didn't have to wrench or host the father to get those views. So I think she has this theory or this idea that I just fabricated, Chris email and lead into a phone call. Fine, think what you want, think what you want. I don't give a shit. Nobody expected that. I certainly didn't expect it. And I'm sorry to those that expected some big elaborate, spill of the beans, but it is what it is. So, hey, Loki's mom, working from home today. Yay. Larry, Mrs. Fletcher, love Louie. I know. Oh, good. That's the way it should be. I'm a grown folk, I think, right? Sometimes. Hey, Kathy. Earth Angels, good to see you. So, yeah, that was just some pettiness, some stupidness. Now she deletes the community post when she didn't like the comments. How she always says, Revival, thank you for your post. Hey, Darcy, Mystic Firefly, Jen Trex. She is stuck in high school. She really is, and it's aggravating, because she also has that juvenile attitude of, she's gonna poke, 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 and when you respond, she's a victim. And it's very hard to deal with, which is why I don't speak on her. And I think we can see who's who. Brittany's still all over these streets. She's in every anti-me chat, running her mouth, even the ones that just had nothing nice to say about you a week ago, Brittany. That's how pathetic you are to get out your anti-granny fix. It is really, I think truth be told, you must be threatened by me because I don't pay you any fucking mind. You know what I mean? Like, I don't look over there. I don't click over there. I'm not joining in on the anti-Britney chats, which I will be. If you haven't joined over at Nonsense, you can hear all the nonsense coming out of Britney. I normally stay away because I don't want to give her any excuse to cry that she's a victim, right? No excuse to say, Granny's bullying me. Nothing. None of it. But she just doesn't stop. She just doesn't stop. I don't get it. Why do you care who I was on the phone with? Y'all need to pay more attention to who your people you care about are on the phone with. Don't worry about me. Speak to who I want when I want. Diana, thank you so much for the 3 months. Love watching you in the morning with my coffee. Yay. I love that. Thank you. Hey, Red, Juno. Oh, I am Christina. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Yeah, Brittany who? That's a good thing. Good question, Crystal. A lot of people in the streets still in high school is weird. It's bizarre. I'm over it. Right. Or without somebody else up there to run it for her. I mean, honestly, that's the truth. I'm sorry you don't have what it takes to keep an audience attention on your own. I would love to see you try, but we all know you can't. Okay. Hey, Goody. Good morning, Seren. Thank you. Then spends the rest of our time in post and watching everyone else is doing. I agree. I agree. Who won't read comments that differ from them, right? And we allow different opinions in here all the time. Oh, I'm sorry, sweet. I didn't mean. Do me a favor, though, guys. Let's keep any comments pertaining to our children out of the chat because she will use that and be like, they're talking about my kids. Although Brittany can participate in filth all day long. So, just let's try to refrain from that. We're better than that. We all have eyes. We all have ears. We all have, the skills to comprehend things. And yeah. Hey, Divine. Taking a break from looking for my keys. Can we all pray I find them? Do you know they sell one of those things now? You put on the keys and then when you lose them, you can beat for them. That's pretty cool. Hey, Shelly. Nobody can, William. Nobody. Right, Vivian. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. Hey, retired EMT. It's very exhausting, but it is what it is. It's been what's been happening for years now. I just don't know. Like, what does it matter? I guess is ultimately my question. What does it matter? What does it matter who I speak to, how long I speak to somebody, if I speak to somebody or I don't? I don't think it's anybody's business. So that's that. Good morning, Kelly Go Lightly, Vanessa J, Colleen C. We should be getting used to by now. Exactly. You do have air tags. See, I knew they make things like that. Hey, Brian Paula, P.E. Island Girl. You have the key alarm. I did see that. That was bizarre. That was very weird. We'll touch on that. Right, exactly, Jason. Let's get to what matters. Also, I can set my stream for within 10 minutes and still get like 400, Brittany. I don't have to set it up well in advance and hashtag the fuck out of missing children, all the things. So just saying. All right. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. Moving on now. Moving on now. Now I have the squeaky chair. Look at that. Karma came around. I need some, what is that stuff called? Something W. Anyway, yes, this was the first week back to school. I am Kelly. So, a quick update, although it's not relevant to this, but I know a lot of you do care. So I'm feeling a lot better. I did retain legal representation. I am on for anybody who cares, anybody that's helped, and everybody who's donated. I am on a payment plan. If you donate it, I am more than happy to email you receipts, name of the attorney, and basically keep you up to date with what's going on. For obvious reasons, this stuff will not be made public. It can be made to those who have donated or those who genuinely are curious and are of support. It is not made for those to harass the lawyer and do all those things in between. Just a mom. Thank you so much. Thank you. Um, I will not be making an actual fundraiser for that purpose. Nobody deserves to be harassed for helping. I will be transparent. Again, if you donated and you want updates of what's going on, I'm more than happy to be transparent. I will show all of it after the actual hearing without a doubt. And yeah, basically, we'll be going live more to try to compensate for the loss, to afford this basically. So I appreciate just a mom. Thank you very much. Every little bit helps. Thumbs up, just being here actively participating. And of course, financial donations help more than you guys know, and it means a lot to me. Hey, Chip Chop, you know my sister? How do you know my sister? That's awesome. Proud for her mom. Good morning, Shay B. Exactly, Gentrax. Exactly. Until it's all said and done. And the other good news is that this isn't the end, right? Regardless of which way it goes, it's not the end. There's other moves after this that we are already um working on. So no matter which way it goes, they're assuring me that we have a solid, but no matter which way it goes, there is a solution and answer at the end. So I'm very relieved to hear that. Very relieved. Are you KCG? She's been doing it for months while she sits in an actual racist, bigot, abuser's chat. Is quite comical. Hey, Simon, quite comical. I do watch Justin at times. He tries to be unbiased, but Vivian, Justin, I fluctuate on, but I'll tell you what, he's not unbiased because he's the one that got in Molly's ear and convinced Molly that she's all these things, or that Chris Proudfoot and Katie are all these things. So he's not unbiased. It's me, Amberly's birthday. There we go. There we go. I knew we had some birthday folks in here today, as well as my sister also watching the ads. Yes, that helps a lot. A lot. If you let the ad go through, it helps me a lot. Good morning, Casual Art. KNC, how are you doing? Happy fall. So glad to hear you got this. Keep doing you. Thank you so much, Forever Army. No, that's okay, Lulu. Just being here and hitting the thumbs up, I'm telling you, it means the world. Good morning, Billy Sunday. Maybe him and Seth are being set up. I'm just an old stoner. I like your new photo, Forever Army. She did call Chris. You guys want to go to see that? Hey, Norway, beats him. We're all biased. Not even hard to be unconscious. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We all are. I think you got to watch out for the ones that claim they're not. So here, I will show you all. Oh, wait. I got to switch. Sorry. Switching on up. What the hell did I do? Oh. Wait, I think I'm here. If you haven't, will you please take this moment to hit the thumbs up? Why isn't it letting me switch? This is weird. Hold on. Also, I know a few people felt personally insulted by the response of not speaking on. Thank you so much, Terry, on the phone call with Chris. I didn't mean to sound so aggressive with all of you, but I was a bit taken back that uh, some didn't respect the boundary that I thought would be respected. I had no idea what any of it would take place. And when I was asked to please keep it confidential, that's what I'm going to do. I have no reason to, um, I don't have no reason not to. You know what I mean? Like, and there's plenty of people I speak to every day that say to me, will you please not tell, keep this between us? And I do, and I have, and I've always have. So I don't know why people are upset at this. I'm sorry that people felt personally attacked, is basically what I'm saying. I didn't want anybody to feel that way. I think a lot of us were just kind of like, wait, is this serious right now? Like you got, you know, upset? I don't know. All right. So our friend, yep, we're going to go to her video because it's a lot shorter and people think the situation is their personal soap opera. You're right. But I understand that why people expect it to get the details. And I'm sorry. I am. I'm sorry for that. Maybe next time, but not today. All right. Anyway, here we go.
Molly Golightly. This is Molly Golightly.
What can I do for you?
I have
And first off, let me ask you this question. How'd you get my phone number?
I'm Molly Golightly.
That don't mean shit to me, man. Please.
Well, it should mean shit to you. Because you want to know something, dude? You are a straight up fucking fraud. And I'm going to make sure everybody fucking knows all eyes are on you, motherfucker. Good night. There you go.
So that was different. Hey, Fletch. Yeah, I get it, Vivian. I'm sorry. Yeah, she's talking to Chris Proudfoot. I do wonder if Chris was like, "Oh, hi, you know, who are you?" And was more receptive to her if she would have cursed him out. You know what I mean? I do wonder that if the phone call went the other way, if she would have cursed him out. Yeah, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie, Queen, I'm with you because I kind of thought like I was all right with Molly doing the whole Betty thing and taking that approach to things, but this, why? And is she gonna call Seth and speak that way? Like, I don't understand what was the intent of this, and this just proves what the intent was. She started off not, you know, I mean, she keeps calling him Roy Rogers, you know. So it's like I don't know, how did we get from like her just learning the details of it to suddenly calling Chris Proudfoot and cursing him out? It was just, it's a little much for me. I know it's a little much for all of you. I don't get it. She got so excited because her chat was, you know, under 100, and then before she knew it was 200, then it was 300, and then it was 6, then it was 7, right? Um, and I think that fed her, you know, like it does to all of us. It feels good, you know. There's no need to deny that. That could be another charge for Betty, third party. I don't know. They would have to really prove that. They would have to really prove that. So there are easy ways to prove that, right? Like let's say let's say Molly made a post that Chris and Katie on behalf of like, hey, what you're doing to Betty's not fair. You need to stop this. And then we see that Molly is a moderator for Betty. That is third party. That is third party contact, is third party harassment, and it should be documented and reported as such. You know what I mean? Like you're a mod for that person. You're actually and somebody speaking directly to them on behalf of Betty. Yeah. Yeah. That, my friends, is definitely third party.
You're dead? Good.
She say you're dead?
That's it. Yeah, I know it's. You're dead? Good. That's it. Yeah, I know it's fucking him. And he knows who the fuck I
am? How does he know who you are? He wasn't like, hey, I've heard about you, Molly. How does he know who you are? Hey, Roro. BHB is asking her people to... I know. She just doesn't stop. It's a stunt. It wasn't necessary, in my opinion. Just tacky. Yeah, why do it, right? Look at the excitement here.
Knows who the fuck I am?
Says who?
Unbelievable.
Don't flatter yourself.
You should not even know.
You should not even know who I am. I don't think he really knew who she was. Do you? What gave her that impression that he knew who she was? Weird. So yeah, that was pretty much the phone call. I mean, there's longer formats to it. She was going over a video of... She kind of started off on this type of format of like Giddy going over Jay's video of Chris and Seth on panel over at gosh, what that lady's name again?
And it was straight focused completely on Sebastian.
Well, let's do this. This call, this podcast or Web Sleuths podcast that we're on right now, we can make a pact right now. That's what we're doing right here, right?
But here's the other thing. I appreciate you want to make that pact, but you know exactly.
He wants us to pony out money, but he hasn't put a dime to a reward fund. You know what, Chris?
Is that what you're asking?
You know.
Yeah.
Let law enforcement go that route, and then law enforcement comes in.
Hold on. She kind of just sits there. She does look cute there. Brown is a good color on you, Molly. Hair looks cute. You did great, you know, but Why are you calling the family?
They know what's up and what's down, and then that's it. See, it's a black or white issue. There's no gray area. Kid did not run away.
From summerwells.com.
Says who?
But he's challenging him and saying,
The same fucking panel right now with Chris.
does this have to do with my
Because you want to know something, dude? You are a straight up fucking fraud.
All right, right here. Let's see how
I do believe that
she gets
Katie
the
is the
call.
one who, and I'm not saying it's because
She
she
looks
knows what
pretty
happened.
there. I'm not gonna lie, she looks pretty.
With him.
She's the Candace Bly.
She was right there.
So she does hold the most information, at least up until the point that he went missing.
What information do you think she holds?
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Well, then do me a favor. Let's just get to it.
He is a fucking piece of shit. He is a total fucking asshole. I hate this fucking guy.
Why? For what? I mean, that's a strong, like, taking a strong stance off of what, though? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Jay, it was your voice. It was your video. Like, why is she taking such a immediate, I hate this guy? It escalated very quickly. Unless somebody's in her ear. Now, we have heard that people that Seth is friends with gave out Chris and Katie's phone number. We see here that she pulls out a notebook. We know that she's friendly with a few people that are friendly with Seth. Is that how she got the phone number? Absolutely. Okay, Stephanie. There's still no validations to that.
Hello,
Hi, can we speak to Chris Bradford, please?
who's speaking?
This is Molly Golightly.
What can I do for you?
I have
And first off, let me ask you this question. How'd you get my phone number?
I'm Molly Golightly.
That don't mean shit to me, man. Please.
Well, it should mean shit to you. Because you want to know something, dude?
Like, if you look there, he was very polite about it. You know, who is this? Molly Golightly. Okay, what can I do for you? But first off, how did you get my number? And then she escalates to this. Like, how did you get that quick, man? That's pretty crazy.
You are a straight up fucking fraud. And I'm going to make sure everybody fucking knows all eyes are on you, motherfucker. Good night. There you go.
I get that, Stephanie. But even that doesn't show much. I mean, there's no proof of that.
You're dead? Good. That's it. Yeah, I know it's fucking him. And he knows who the fuck I am?
Look at her there, like, oh, no.
Unbelievable. You should not even know or care who the fuck I am.
What gave you the impression? He literally asked who you were. Like, how does he know who you are? Oh, Molly.
They fucking told you, didn't they?
Who's they?
He's a fucking straight up fraud. You here for this? Fuck you. Fuck you, Chris Proudfoot, and fuck your wife too.
Oh. Oh. What happened, Molly? Why are you so angry? KNS, thank you so much. I'm glad you had a great time with them. Seriously. She listens to Nina interview. I get that. The Nina interview really did pull on heartstrings. It honestly, truly did. I see how people get caught up in that. But we have to remember there was nothing factually backing up what was stated there. It was an emotionally driven, and I'm not saying Nina lied because I don't know. I don't know. I will never know. Unless either side can produce documents to back up what each were saying, it's hard to believe that's the way he was able to kidnap a baby and and still maintain custody visitation throughout. I find it hard to believe. I don't know. But gee, this was...
You did something to that fucking kid.
Oh.
I sat here and I fucking listened to your ex-wife in tears for 2.5 fucking hours. You're a fucking evil, demented scumbag. And I hope you fucking rot in hell. You are a fucking piece of shit. How dare you? How dare you?
Good question.
You are so fucking lucky I'm not riding side by side by JLR or fucking Bullhorn Betty. We're not outside your fucking house. You got fucking lucky.
Actually, you missed the boat, Bets. Or, oh, gee, golly, you remind me of Betty so much I called you Bets. Holy hell. You missed the boat, Molly. The boat sailed 6 months ago. You're late. Or I bet you would be outside that house, wouldn't you? So I'm glad to know that we're back at that. We're back at that, you would have went there and all that. We get it. Okay, fine. Why is it that people believe Nina, but they don't believe Katie when she reported abuse by Seth? Great question. Is it because Katie didn't come out here and do a sit-down crying interview? Let me tell you all a little something, right? Now, listen, respectfully, again, I'm never going to question any woman's abuse story. I won't. I'm not. I don't know if Nina told the truth or not. What I will say is that Nina, prior to that moment, prior to this, never once spoke about her children, from my understanding and what I've been shown, on Facebook. It wasn't until after all of this and she got that attention that she started posting about those children. So I don't know if that means anything, but let's not forget the judge still granted them summer visitation, right? So how bad could it have been? I don't know. I don't know. We don't have documents to support it. And how could we? It's a tough one. Right. Nina used this chance to speak. The missing child gave her the means and the motive. Right. The reports against Seth are awful. They're just as bad as the reports against Chris. Could it be that, both of them have done some really shitty, crappy, abusive things? Absolutely. Doesn't mean that either one of them hurt this child. She said she was not going to be doing this again. It took her how long? Well, it all goes to their heads. It starts off with, I'm different. I don't act this way no more. I'm going to do better. And it's not long. If someone did what was she accused, that person would have had custody or right to any child. Wouldn't it have? Yeah, you would have to prove it was Betty. It could have been anybody. I mean, really, Molly could have just simply did a regular search and found it, to be honest. I don't know.
You got fucking lucky that I'm not next to fucking Dolly or any of these fucking motherfuckers, because we would have came and fucking had you by the fucking balls.
Ma'am, I don't know where you've been, but they don't really do that shit no more. I guess welcome back. They don't really do this no more, right? Like Dolly's not out there, back in front of people's houses and screaming. Everybody kind of grew past that. They grew past that. But the original squeals on the ground, right? She started, yeah, I know. She did. And I mean, she's entertaining. If people want to donate towards entertainment, you do that. But I have a feeling that Molly's going to lose a lot of people by this behavior right here. Yeah, had you by the balls. I'll bet he would give it to her too. I don't think so. Actually, I know not. I know that's not true, Stephanie. Yeah.
You know what? You're doing it to your fucking self. You want to know something? All these little pussies on fucking YouTube, they don't have the fucking balls that I fucking do. So don't worry how I got your fucking number. Just know that I fucking have it. I have your fucking number. You did something to that poor fucking baby. We all fucking know it was you. And that fucking cunt's mother.
Molly. She was, Terry. First time I watched Molly, she was raging on BHB for doing exactly what she just did. Why are you saying all of that, Molly? All because he denied you access to a conversation? Really, he didn't. He just said, ma'am, that doesn't mean anything to me. Who are you? All you had to say is, listen, my real name is blah, blah, blah. I'm a YouTube personality, and had a normal conversation. But because he questioned who you were, it went to this?
Allowing it. You terrorized your ex-fucking wife. Mother, you did something to that poor fucking baby. We all fucking know it was you. And that fucking cunt's mother who's allowing it. You terrorized your ex-fucking wife. You terrorized her with your fucking freak family. Fuck you. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. All you want to talk about is fucking money. All you want.
I have a feeling this is why your family didn't want you back on YouTube, Molly. I know for you, at one point you said your family wanted you to take a break, and on the next point you said they wanted you back. You shouldn't be getting this overly invested 6 months later without knowing all the details. It's just abnormal to be this insanely personally insulted. Honestly, it is. You can defend Nina against what you believe to be true without doing all this. Oh, PJ, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's really sweet of you. Thank you. And thank you for the super sticker here. He won't testify against her husband. What does she say is present in a courtroom? She won't testify against her husband. What do you mean, Happy Feet? I don't understand what you're saying by that. Oh, boo.
to talk about is people being criticizing you and your fucked up wife. And you want to know something, Katie? What kind of fucking mother are you?
You know, this is what blows my mind. So let's take this aspect, right? Let's take the facts. Let's say that Molly really is this passionate because she believes Nina went through some severe abuse, right? Why wouldn't you be sympathetic towards Katie by assuming if he is that dangerous and that abusive, then perhaps Katie's a victim as well? Instead, you're automatically cursing her out and doing the same thing. And quite frankly, if you look at the DVRO papers, Katie did document abuse and did claim abuse by Seth. Ugh, I don't understand this, Molly. It didn't take long, Parody Patty. It really didn't.
Are you that so low with your fucking self-esteem? You marry a guy that doesn't want
She is
fucking
entertaining.
children. He didn't want your fucking baby. Your kid was not good enough for him.
Your kid was not good enough for him, but he stayed with her for 8 years? No, he's nothing. He's not doing this shit. I don't think he would even co-sign this. He's probably not even aware. It baffles me, to be honest. I'm kind of speechless at this point. I didn't hear all of this. I only heard the phone call part. I didn't hear all of this. I don't get it.
If I were you, I'd take an iron fucking skillet and whack it in the back of his fucking head, call the fucking police, and go outside with your hands fucking up and tell the police the truth. What'd you do to your fucking kid? Because I know your fucking husband did something. I know it. I can't prove it, but I know it.
Why? Because Justin told you
You're
so?
as fucking guilty as
Justin, you support this? Does anybody know? Has Justin spoken on this? Has Justin given his stance of how he feels about this? Because I'll be honest, I can't see Justin supporting this. I know some of you are going to be like, yeah, he does. He would. He could. I don't know if I believe that Justin would support this.
fucking sin. And that just proved it right fucking there. There's no reason that this kid has been gone for 6 friggin' months. This child is gone for 6 fucking months. And you guys are like, yeah, perfect crime. We don't get to talk to the media anymore. These people are so crazy over YouTube. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, you're going to answer to God. Fuck that shit. Satan's got a grip right around your fucking neck, motherfucker. Right against your fucking, right on your goddamn neck. You should not even know who the fuck Molly Golightly is.
Molly, he never said he knew who you were. I think he supports her because he's been on her panel. I'm curious if he supports this behavior. Because I know he supports her. Although Molly took a few jabs at Justin. I don't know if he's aware of that. It didn't take long for that to happen either. Prior to this case, they did have a falling out, from my understanding. I've been told by another creator that all 3 of them were friends with. So I don't know. I don't know. But again, put a 1 in the chat if you think Chris Proudfoot did not know who Molly is. Put a 2 if you think that Chris knew exactly who she was. Very curious where everybody stands. Yeah, I don't think he knew. I mean, me personally, I don't think he knew. I think if he knew, he would have said, like, you know, I don't know. I don't think he knew. Chris says CPS came because Sebastian lied and wasn't about the Bell stint. So if true, CPS came to the house 2 separate times, but Chris lies like a rug. Yeah. Unfortunately, when it comes to CPS, we'll never know. We're not entitled to that information. Couldn't they get an RO against her also? I think one of the reasons they were successful is because whatchamacallit was actually in their neighborhood and was going on for months upon months upon months. Now, if she continued this and continues to escalate it, yeah, I'm sure they could. I don't think he knew. I don't think he was into YouTube before this case. Yeah, like maybe he, I don't know, heard of her name in passing, but I don't know what part of that phone call made her feel that she did know who he was. Or who she was. I'm sorry, not he.
But you did.
But you did.
Had you get my number? I got your fucking number.
Obviously, you got it. 1 second, guys. I am a bit curious how she got it. Chris and Katie surely have a lot on Seth they aren't making public. I believe that as well. I believe they sat back and kind of realized that Seth is the type that will show himself. And I believe that this newest introduction to this new team, which we got to get into, has a lot to do with that. So let me hurry up and finish out this Betty segment, and we'll get to that.
Fucking piece of shit. How fucking dare you go on a fucking panel with all these fucking women who are clearly trying to help you? But you want to know something? Nancy Grace said it. She knew you people are fucking sus as fuck.
Oh, I want to correct something Molly said there. The people on that panel were not trying to help Chris. They were already anti-Chris. They made that clear. They actually gaslit him, in my opinion, because they didn't like Chris. So, no, there's women on the panel. But how do you feel about Seth Rogers going on a panel of women and pretending to, how do you say it politely? You know? It's just something you don't do, especially in front of women, especially publicly, especially on a woman's panel. It's very disrespectful. I didn't see Chris do that. Whack off. Pleasure himself. There you go. Pleasure himself. Pretend to pleasure himself. I don't think beat the meat or whack off's the appropriate way.
I want to talk to the fucking press. You don't want to talk to the fucking press. You motherfucker.
What is she doing messaging Vinnie Politan? Get him! They did
You
speak
didn't
to
get
the,
away with it.
They did speak to
We're
the
not going to
press.
forget.
We're not going to.
You're so fucking lucky. You're so fucking lucky that we all dismantled.
Watch out for that heels in the air team. Can you imagine heels in the air? I'm sorry, heels on the ground. Can you imagine them joining teams with my lovely thumbnail of A-star weirdos that are talking about drugging people against their will? Like, what is going on with Seth Rogers' team?
I think you're all fucked up. Every single one of you. That's why this case is so fucking confusing. Because you're all fucking fucked up.
You're going to have a stroke, ma'am.
Poor child.
I think at this point that Chad's telling her all about Seth, so she's trying to walk it back a bit.
Poor baby.
He's not a baby. He's a 15-year-old boy that was growing a mustache.
He knew.
He knew what?
He knows exactly where he is.
Of course he knows where he is.
You got a fucking disease, Chris Proudfoot.
What's the
You're
disease,
a
Molly?
disgusting fucking wife that allowed it to happen. What kind of mother are you? I want to know, Chris. You want to know something? Answer a fucking question for me.
All right, let's hear your question, Molly. Let's hear it.
Who the fuck raised you?
Oh, got him. I think Chris maintains being, listen, I'm not saying there's not red flags, right? Because there are. There's red flags with all of them. But I think for the most part, he maintains a very respectful manner, given what he's dealing with. You know, given what he walks into.
Because there's something fucking wrong with you. Who the fuck is your mother?
Maybe the military did it.
I'd like to have a fucking word with her and say, what kind of fucking lunatic did you fucking raise?
You know what? I think many would love to have that same conversation with Seth Rogers' mom, who admittedly stated that she was aware that Seth was being abused. I'm sorry, not Seth. Sebastian was being abused, but yet she kept it a secret because she promised. Mandated reporter grandmother claims that her grandchild came to her and told her that he was being abused, and grandmom didn't say a word, not a single word to a single person, because it meant more to keep her word with the child that's being abused than it did to seek out help, if all of that would be true. Why would he blame me, Kenneth? This phone call wasn't well after me. I mean, well before me. It had nothing to do with me. And I don't think he would blame me. I don't think he would.
Who gets married to a woman and then knocks her up? A piece of shit that says, I'm not happy. No, I'm not happy that you're pregnant.
When did Chris say that? Hey, Cricket Day. Thank you for becoming a member again. Good morning, Jax. Yeah, I'm not happy. You know, that happens with a lot of people, honestly. They get pregnant, they have a baby, they realize they don't mesh well, you know, it's a big change. I don't know.
Now I want you to get an abortion. You piece of shit.
Oh.
You're a piece of fucking shit. Unfucking real. What a piece of shit you are.
Who would groom a 12-year-old girl? Good question, Loki's mom.
You really fucking are a piece of shit.
If he would have spoke to her, do you think she would have took such an angry stance? Wait, you know what else? Let me hold on. Didn't Seth Rogers tell us himself that Katie did similar? So are you saying this all to Seth as well? I'm curious if she feels the same way both ways, right? Because it does go both ways. It could go both ways.
It's unreal. And then you're worrying how I got your fucking number? I got your fucking number.
Well, Molly, if I called you right now, wouldn't you ask how I got your number? And don't you think that's a little weird? Really talks me in that fake arse accent of hers. Certain words aren't pronounced that fake arse accent. Well, here's the thing, Judy. I won't question her accent because I know when I get angry or I get worked up, my accent gets heavier as well. So I do believe that happens. I think it's just a matter of getting like worked up and it just comes out of you. I don't think she's doing that intentionally. She doesn't like any of them. All right. So where's her phone call or message to Seth? I mean, it is weird just to call somebody's phone number and then be angry that they want to know how you got their number. I think that's a normal response. How'd you get my number? Yeah, I think the accent.
And I've only been interested in this, what? Because of Bullhorn Betty? You want to know something? You make Bullhorn Betty look like a fucking angel. Oh. Damn! Is Bullhorn Betty totally in the fucking wrong? I'm going to say no.
You lost us there. You lost us there, Molly. You know what's crazy is you build up your audience by bashing Betty. A lot of us were there for that. That was, you know, you're funny. You're funny. You can hold an audience. I give her that. She's a very entertaining woman. She's funny. She's a good storyteller. All those things. But damn, Molly, that you started off saying how wrong Betty was for all of this. And now you're kind of just walking that all back and saying she's okay simply because the man asked you how you got his number. I don't understand what's happening here. It's disappointing.
You're disgusting. To think that this motherfucker knows who the fuck I am.
He doesn't.
That he even knows who Molly fucking Golightly is.
You're flattered.
This doesn't say Molly Golightly. His name's not in here.
What?
His stepson, the kid, my son.
Why do people mock that? Listen, if you were to have a step parent in your child's life, wouldn't you want them to refer to that child as their child? No, he was a full-grown man picking daisies. He was a grown man. This is kind of, you don't think she's one bit entertaining? I do. I'm not going to lie, I do. I just wish that she would have stuck the route she was going. Whatever.
Jay was right.
Damn.
Whatever you decide, however way today you want to address him. What kind of mood are you in? Fuck you.
What?
Fuck you. Your wife is fucking disgusting.
Ew. You don't even know the woman.
Fucking switching out children.
Switching out children?
You fucking pig.
Why do people keep saying that? Don't you think the worst way to win a custody case is to make a child disappear? I mean, honestly, don't you think that's the hardest hurdle to come over is to explain to a courtroom where one child went to? I think that would be a little bit ridiculous. Like, oh, you know what? I want this child, so I'll make this one disappear. Surely I'll win custody at this point. That's stupid. It makes the case harder. I don't know why people think that's what happened here. That's silly. Very silly.
You're disgusting. You're absolutely disgusting. And your mother should be ashamed of herself.
Leave the poor granny
Giving
alone.
birth to you. Fucking who gets married 5 times? And what is wrong with you, fucking Katie? Who marries the fucking guy? Oh yeah, this sounds like a great fucking idea. I'm just gonna marry a guy that's been married 4 times. Oh,
Military has a high divorce rate, Molly. You didn't take this attitude when you found out the other day you had that many
that's not
ex-wives.
fucking a little bit of baggage. What's your fucking level of self-esteem at?
Well, just given she
Does he
was
have anything to fuck?
given she was a teenage victim, a child victim, I think it's pretty gross to ask where her self-esteem is. That woman lived a very traumatic life and then was groomed at a very early age after experiencing what she did as a young girl. I think it's very gross to ask where her self-esteem is at.
Fucking offer? I don't think so. Does he have anything to fucking offer? I don't think so.
You don't?
Maybe I just have higher standards than men. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I won't be personal. That's all right.
No, it didn't take 5 minutes to get the number. How'd you get my number? I'm only lately. You don't want to get into it with me, motherfucker. You would never be able to handle it. And I personally don't like doing things over the phone. I like doing it face to face.
Well, that's like a threat, Betty.
So let me ask you.
Geez, golly, there I go, calling her Betty again. That's a shame that she's reminding me that much of Betty, to be honest. I mean, that's really a shame. I hate that I just said that again.
With Bill and Betty so you've been listening. So with Bullhorn and Betty out of the picture, are you ever going to show up for any of the vigils? You already know you don't want to talk to the press.
They have spoken to the press many times. What are you talking about? I don't think you have all the facts. Hey, that coon. I don't think she has all the facts.
I think you're happy Sebastian's gone.
That's really crude.
They were all a bunch of shady pieces of shit.
Yeah.
I feel fucking terrible for all the innocent people that have to live amongst them. Let me tell you something.
Oh.
All those people that live on the block with these fucking proud feet motherfuckers.
Their name's Proudfoot. Proudfoot. Just because plural definition of foot is feet doesn't mean their name turned to Proud Feet. It's Proudfoot. Hey, True Crime with Eve.
Knowing that fucking lunatic is living in that fucking house, they should all fucking know what a goddamn lunatic is living in that house. And you know something?
Is that projection?
The mother too. And she's my wife. Yeah, she's fucked up too.
Leave the mother alone, for goodness sake.
She's fucked up too. Or like this lady. Yeah, fuck you.
Why?
You know, fuck you.
That's very passionate.
I'm not Bullhorn Betty. I won't sit in a fucking car or hide behind the police.
That's also bad to say publicly. Calm down. Don't be silly.
I was practically pushing the fucking police out of the way to get to Don Wells.
Oh.
They had to make...
Who remembers? All right. So this is where you confused me, Molly, because when you came back, you apologized for the way you behaved with Don Wells. Does anybody remember that? Anybody else remember her apologizing for her antics with Don Wells? Can we get ones in the chat if you remember that? I recall Molly saying that the way she behaved with Don, she didn't really like it, and it wasn't really her, and she didn't want the man to get it fired, and she regretted it, and she's learned this isn't how you do things, and she's kind of calmed down, and I think I recall that. I do recall that because I thought, wow, this is really cool to hear. I'm glad she feels differently. A lot of you do remember that as well. Okay. So she very much came back on this, called out Betty's behavior, and apologized for her previous. She even said it again recently. She was embarrassed by her behavior. Right. So now she's basically like bragging it again. So you weren't really embarrassed by it. And that sucks.
Making me fucking step back. You're disgusting. Hitting a 15-year-old boy with autism with a fucking belt. Well, you're definitely going to hell. You are a fucking piece of shit. You really are. None of the neighbors like them. He cussed the neighbors out too. He's a fucking lowlife.
And that's not true. The neighbors have never said that. They've never said that. Matter of fact, the neighbors have nothing bad to say.
I know something?
Except for
maybe
fake
you
neighbors.
Should be living in Nina's parents' fucking trailer. That's where you belong. Actually, I'm going to take that back. The trailer is way too good for you. You belong in fucking prison. Taking it in the fucking ass.
Oh, Jesus. Golly.
Fucking broomstick.
Oh, my God. Whoa. Oh my Lord. What the hell just happened there? That is, oh. Why'd your mind even go in there, Molly? That's really aggressive. Oh my gosh. Wow.
He didn't want
great.
that fucking kid around. He never liked him. You want to know something? The mother has no fucking self-esteem, no self-worth.
He had nothing.
That she would choose a man. Not much of a fucking man. To me, I think he's a fucking disgusting piece of shit. Okay?
Come on.
Over her own kid. A baby.
He wasn't a baby.
An innocent little baby.
He's not an innocent little baby. He's a 15-year-old boy. I'm so tired of people acting like Sebastian was an innocent little baby. He's an innocent child, but he's not a baby.
Is gone.
And we don't know where. There's nothing.
Well, Chris Proudfoot, you better pray you never meet me in fucking person.
Oh my God.
I will fucking I will shit in your fucking mouth.
Ew. She's reminding me of somebody here. She's reminding me of somebody here. I will shit in your mouth. This is not cute. This is weird.
How the fuck does he know me? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, she.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
He's ridiculous. He should not know who the fuck I am.
He doesn't.
Nobody. There isn't even that many people in this fucking chat. Nowhere does it have Sebastian's name. I've never had anything up with Sebastian.
No, but you've had Seth Rogers, haven't you? I'm sorry, Roy Rogers. He didn't say he knew you. I think she's like flattered by that, to be honest.
It's him. It's him.
Okay, Betty. Junior. Molly. One week question, so I'm worried about how many times a person been married. So what about how many boyfriends and girlfriends? Trust me, girlfriend, boyfriend plays a big part. So I wish I could divulge things, but I think this whole attitude of he hated Sebastian, he didn't care, and da-da-da, I think it's wrong. I think it's absolutely wrong. I think people are taking and twisting his approach to them and their opinions and taking it towards how he feels about Sebastian. I don't think that's right. So of course, the new All-Star A team that came in and talked right from the jump about drugging people. Let's see. Let's go over here. Oh, and I did find it. So I found the card that I got when I was out with the Danilo Cavalcante. I found the card, and sure enough, they were at Night Media. When you look up the address, there's no actual building there. So I don't know what is going on there. I don't know if that was hold on. I thought it hit when I did it the other day. I don't know if if they're like pulling some shady stunt here or if anything has anything to do with it, but there was no building there. So I don't know how they're a legitimate agency. Let me fix this really quick. If you guys haven't, please go give my take a look at my community post for a minute and address that freak. All right, here we go. I thought I did it already. I didn't. So yeah, so it was basically an empty building, right? There's an address. There was no actual building there. Doris Sebastian, you see in his eyes when he speaks about him. I haven't looked in his eyes or anything. I don't know. I don't doubt that. I don't think you don't get into a relationship with a woman that has a child with special needs if you hate children with special needs. I think that's weird. I think that's weird to believe that he would stay with her. You would think that would be a big deal breaker if he hated Sebastian. Right? So anyway, you go over to one. So again, it was also called At Night Media. It had an address listed. The address was not a legitimate address. I see they have a new article over here. So when they were involved with Danilo Cavalcante, when Nick was involved with Danilo Cavalcante, he's very much an instigator. He kind of fits right back in with the people that he is now associated with, because he's a troublemaker. So At Night Media, an American news agency, right? Syndicate and traditionally known for its discreet yet influential role in content production. They don't say anything here about their world-renowned people hunting skills. So they're making a significant transition. New York City specializing in commercial, whatever, content for virtually every major television network in the United States. Has anybody ever heard of At Night Media? Have you ever seen them on the news? I was, Tyler. I never denied that I was. I just said you guys aren't entitled to that information. That's it, period. End of. Never denied being on the phone. So anyway, they're news, right? Now they're on the news. They're so big. They're so known. As well as numerous digital and print publications. Has anybody ever seen them in an actual newspaper? Anybody? I don't think so. Okay. Let's look up Andrew Watt. Oh, he's the spokesman for Bill Cosby. Are you kidding? Hold on. You guys seeing this? He was the spokesman for Bill Cosby.
And Mr. Cosby, I called yesterday. He said, "Booyah."
Andrew, what do you have to say on behalf of Bill Cosby about this verdict?
That makes sense because Nick claims to be good friends with Bill Cosby. Brittany, you asked Seth several times when he was in your chat to email you. So don't be acting like it was horrible. Granny spoke to CP. You'd be on the phone with Seth all day if you could. I just don't. There was nothing horrific about it. It does explain a lot. It does. All right. So he's the spokesman.
His life behind bars. Yesterday, the state Supreme Court tossed his conviction for sexual assault earlier.
That's right. Next up, Mr. Cosby, how you doing? How you doing, Mr. Cosby? Bill Cosby walked out of his Elkins Park home this afternoon.
That's him. That's Mr. Andrew V. Watt. Very interesting. Yes, that's how he would know him. All right, so our fight to enter a courtroom is a testament to our unwavering commitment to ensure that this right is upheld for the benefit of our global audience. One World Media Corp is a groundbreaking joint venture between At Night Media, LLC, DBA, At Night Media Group, and an undisclosed third party. Undisclosed third party. So they're shifting from their Philadelphia roots. This information signifies a bold move towards achieving. All right. Andrew Watt serves as the Chief Executive Officer, President and CEO of Purpose Public Relations Firm. His portfolio includes work with notable entities such as Malcolm Perney Engineering Firm, AT&T, and Lionsgate Entertainment. Notably, Watt has gained recognition for his representation of comedian Bill Cosby. So Hung, who I met, is also the president. And then down here, the contacts is Joseph Lesnick. There's something weird. It's weird. I think it's very weird. Something's going on here. So anyway, that's their one article that popped up on March 18th. And then, of course, we have the weird one that talks about drugging those unwilling to cooperate. Cosby, the one that slipped pills and drinks. Something's not right with this whole thing. Did they give Bill Cosby the truth serum? Right. Comedian, more like a joke. Pin needles, you're right. And all points to disgusting behavior. Thank you, Revival. This is all just fishy. Hey, Roji. This is all just fishy. You're right, Trish. Something's not right with this whole thing. What is going on here? I didn't notice that. Does that say that over here? Hold on. You only have 2 articles, At Night Family. No, I don't see it. They also don't tell how they, okay, where is it? They also don't state how they plan to file a motion to intervene in Danilo Cavalcante trial. Motion to intervene, what does that mean? What intervention do you get? Like, what are you trying to do? Don't you think this article would tell you about that, since that's what the title is? Today, One World has filed a motion to intervene in the trial proceedings of Danilo Cavalcante, challenging the organization's wrongful and unconstitutional exclusion from an American courtroom. How'd it work out for you? You still weren't allowed in the courtroom. What? Everyone needs to stop reading black and white and in between the lines and circles and start reading crystal clear gray shaded squares. I don't know what you're talking about, Weeping World. You have me a little... I don't know. I see what you emailed, but I'm a little... All right. So, odd. This is odd. No, they're actually not saying anything differently than what we've been saying, to be honest. Hey, Face. Seems to me At Night Private Investigation Agency was literally just created. They're not mentioning all the World Wide Web except for this website. Right. And they actually say they're renowned. They're renowned. They're not renowned. Nobody even knows who you are. This website feels like it was just created. At Night, renowned among the elite for their discretion and effectiveness. Can you back that up and show us what elite? I knew JLR worked with them, but I didn't know he was like a board member of it. It makes things make a little more sense, but I don't think JLR knew all of this was going to happen. I don't think he had any idea. I feel pretty confident it was very recently created. Yes, Willow, it was. Who's the elite? What elite? Bill freaking Cosby? What elite? Right, like, is Ernie part of this team? I wouldn't be surprised if he now pops up. Would any of you? This is odd. This is very freaking odd. Just create it for this case. I agree. This is so strange. So again, I know At Night Media was a real thing, and they had an address listed. Hold on. On their card, and when I looked it up, there was no such thing. All right, for example, they say Philadelphia. If you look them up now, they say they're in Chester County, Pennsylvania, and this is their address. Right? This is their address. It used to be a Philadelphia, and when you clicked on it, it was an alleyway. with no house, with no door, with no building. Now their address is trees in the woods. Anybody want to come up and talk? You're more than welcome. This is a Nick creation for traffic and now dog too. He wasn't getting very far with Danilo. I mean, he even tried accusing Delaware County of having this big undercover wrap up. He's literally from my area, Cambry. Literally. Also, Quinn says the attorney for At Night is from media. Yeah. Yeah. Then they have New York. They have atnight.com, discover great events, nightclubs, venues. So it's already a taken name. Groundbreaking media company focused on delivering captivating content to engage and entertain audiences. With the launch of Crime Space. What is Crime Space? What? A place for readers, writers of crime fiction to meet? This is weird. Are we getting a book? Are we getting a movie? Julia, do you have any play in this? What is going on here? What is going on here? Trying to make names for themselves before election season or crazy.
Good morning, beautiful.
Morning.
So, a little bit of information. There are a couple of red flags about this website I thought I'd point out real quick. My husband's an IT professional. The fact that this company is based out of Philadelphia should be your first warning sign. I'm not saying that that is 100% a sign that it is illegitimate, but
Well, wait,
I will.
not to stop you for a minute, but they say Philly, but then they say Chester County, but then they also say Delaware County.
Right. But what I was going to warn you of is the fact that it does not have a legitimate address that is occupied.
Right.
And the fact that it is out of Philadelphia should be two warning signs for anyone. Like if you're contacted by a scammer, 9 times out of 10, it's out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or California.
Yeah, I'm going to go 1 second and grab the business card I was given and show you the address that was listed on there as a Philadelphia address that also was not a building. So give me 1 second. Just you can talk. I'm just going to you for a second.
And I'm not saying that 100% without a shadow of a doubt verifies that it is not legit. But those are actual things. If you go online and look up scams, those are some of the things that are listed to be on the lookout for, literally. And I hate to accuse anyone of anything, but it all does seem fishy. And if I were, Nick and them, I would definitely be explaining these things if it is legitimate. I think that's important. I really do. I'm sorry, you guys. I sound terrible. I have COVID really bad right now. I sound like a gravel truck. Sorry.
Okay, Regina, I'm back. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're awesome. It's actually pretty important that you're bringing this up because we need to know. I mean, as much shady stuff has gone on with the parties that Seth is involved in this case, we really need to be looking at anyone and everyone brought into the case.
Yeah, and like I was saying, the fact that First, it started off as At Night Media Group. Now they're At Night Renowned. What do they call themselves? Like, I don't know. Freaking, what was the wording they used for At Night Intelligence Agency? Now they're an intelligence agency. It's like they're just LARPers. They're whatever they want to be.
Yeah, it's nuts. Also, the fact that they're talking about using sodium typenol.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that is literally one of the drugs they use in executions, and it's been illegal to bring into the United States. There was like a big federal thing between the feds in Texas in 2017 where the United States actually held they detained every shipment of sodium typenol in the United States, and they denied entry into the United States because the FDA ruled that there is no legitimate use for sodium typenol inside the United States because they don't even use it any longer for executions, and it only has a stable shelf life of about 6 days. So anyone using sodium typenol on any other human being is literally committing a felony by having it in the United States, because there's no way that they have it previous to it being banned in the United States.
Right.
I just thought,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So look, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to come over here. Hold on, let me make sure. So I come over here. It's my Google map, right? And I'm going to type in 1650. What I just had on the screen, 1650 Marcus Street, Philadelphia. This is where they claimed they were, right? When you click it and you go to the 30, at the time anyhow, when you would click and you go to the, as shown over here, 36th level, it was unoccupied. There was nothing there. So they claimed to have been located in here, but they weren't. They weren't.
Wow. Like, it's really shady. Either they just created this entire website strictly for this purpose and don't have their act together yet and have the website legitimized, or there's 3 possibilities. Either it's scamming, shady, it's the feds trying to hide that they're more involved than they're saying, you know what I'm saying, like a private entity or something, or it's legit and they just don't have it right, everything set up right yet. But I do know that it's either Pennsylvania or...
See how they're not listed here? As American Consumer Credit Counseling, One Liberty Place, the Town Law. When you type in 36th floor, they're not named as being here. But now they have a whole different address for it. I don't know. That's just, they're odd. It's odd.
Totally weird. Totally weird.
Something weird going on here. Nobody's ever heard of them, but they're saying they're groundbreaking. You're not groundbreaking. Nobody knows of you. What's everybody thinking here? Do you think there's something? Oh, I blocked you out. Something. Let's type him in.
I mean, it's kind of amazing to me that a business doesn't know its own address. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And then he's in media. This lawyer. I don't know. Something's weird here. And then the most weirdest part is this thing, this crime space that they created that says making fictional books and stuff. Like, what is going on here? It's all fishy. It's all weird. I don't think it's pointless SS. I think it's absolutely very important. You have these reality TV show has-beens coming in. You have Dog the Bounty Hunter, a lawyer, and quite frankly, a very not well-liked man out of Delaware County claiming they're going to come in 6 months later, raise the FBI's reward, which they can't do, and suddenly solve a case, and they're going to use drugging people to force confessions. I'm shocked that news agencies haven't jumped on this and more of the aspect of like, what are you doing?
It seems really sus to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Who's
not
from
g-
Chester, Jax? Who do you keep saying is from Chester? If you're talking about Nick, he's not. He's from Delaware County. He literally lives 10 minutes from me. Or lived 10 minutes from me, I should say. He is not from Chester. Oh
Also,
yeah, them coming in is pointless. Absolutely. I
can I
think they're writing a book or a movie. Sorry, what
can
you
I can I also point out something else suspicious to me? I don't know if you've noticed or not,
Mhm.
but all of this about this at night company offering up this reward and stuff in Sebastian's case, this all come out along the time of CP's custody case documents. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah, well that's always what they do, right? They
Yep.
rotate something that's going to get attention, and then next thing you know, there's a big groundbreaking move when coming to Seth Rogers. It seems like that is always the way it is, like a distraction to get the attention going again, and then a big move.
Right. And see, the thing is everything that has just been dropped, if you look at it, I think that this is all Tony Mathis and Seth Rogers setting all of this up with their little tentacle connections they have through all these different weirdo creators and stuff that know anybody. But if you'll look at it, this all stinks of let's clear Seth, because I think that's why they mentioned using these drugs um in that article on their website, because it says, oh, we use sodium. To me, they're almost implying like, yeah, and we've used these drugs on Seth, so we know he's telling the truth. In my mind, I can't help it, and maybe I'm just, paranoid or crazy or suspicious of everyone, but to me it almost seems like this is part of the clear Seth campaign. You know what I mean? Like by
Yeah.
dropping the documents on CP, having those dropped, Seth can play the victim of like, oh, see, they're saying Seth and Katie are clear, but they won't clear me. Just like this whole sodium pental and truth serum thing. It's like, and then they talk about Seth cooperating. Well, are they implying that they have used these drugs on Seth and that he should be cleared? Because that's what all of this seems like to me. And if you ask me, it's this whole let's clear Seth campaign, because in my opinion, it's a money grab.
Well,
It's
and that is
all a
what
money grab.
you're right. That is what they retracted their initial statement about drugging people unwilling. And then they did say that it would be used on Seth willingly. Like what? Or they implied as much. They didn't literally say the word Seth, but they said on our client.
Exactly. Like I've been paying attention, and I can't help it. To me, it all seems like it's part of this let's clear Seth campaign, and just gives them one more reason to raise all of this money, because that is the one thing I have noticed that absolutely disgusts me in this case. Okay, as you know, I'm covering a case. I don't know if you saw it, by the way, on Sidebar with Jesse Weber, the Troy Alexander stroke case. That's the
No.
case I'm covering, and they picked up on it. It was a big article. I'm so excited about that. But the thing is I'm dealing with the family, okay, and they had a loved one that was murdered, completely uninvolved. They've already arrested the man, everything like that. Law enforcement told them, no, we don't need you to put up a reward, right? You know what this family did because they cared about their loved one? They started a GoFundMe, and guess what the GoFundMe actually went to? The reward.
Yeah. I know a lot. I know it is true that sometimes the police will say don't set up a reward because it does cause like unnecessary distractions, right? Then people are calling in with every little tip because they want the reward money. But I find it hard to believe that right before this reward money came out, that Betty is claiming Seth was aware was coming out, that Seth would publicly state that the cops didn't want the reward. That part I don't understand. And respectfully, Petty, for your thoughts, I disagree because Dog, he's a has been. I mean, what? Here's my question for people that are saying this is great of Dog. Listen, the more eyes, the better. I'm not disputing that he does have a further reach. Why couldn't he use that reach without all of this? Why can't he just post the flyers of these missing children Why does he have to then advertise, oh, he's going in, he's boots on the ground? He did the same thing during the laundry case. Same people, same characters. He took a few posing photos out there, but he made no real difference to anything.
Good and truth and doing the right thing don't need spokespersons. They speak for themselves.
Right. And then right here, this is one of the most horrendous cases of missing children we've ever worked on. What? It's a publicity. I'm sorry, it is. And for people saying dog doesn't need publicity, bullshit. When's the last time any of you heard of dog in the spotlight? How many of you checked in on Dog the Bounty Hunter in the past 20 years? Respectfully.
I haven't in a long time. I haven't even thought about Dog the Bounty Hunter since Dog the Bounty Hunter, the show.
Yeah, I haven't since he went on and got involved with Brian Laundrie.
I didn't cover the Brian Laundrie case, but exactly, this is all publicity, and that's, man, that's the saddest part about it. All these people making all of this money, just like Seth making all this money in Sebastian's name. Find my son, send me money, I need help, we need money for this, we need money for that, and not one penny has he put up for a reward.
Well,
and
you go and look over here, right? It says right here, Chapman told the station, "This isn't my first rodeo in finding missing children or finding who's done it. The bottom line is, if you hurt a child like this, you've got a problem. So that is the main motivation for me to be hunting who did this." Now, can somebody tell me what missing child Dog the Bounty Hunter has ever found? Let's look. All right, he did find a missing boy. This is nice. This is good to read. This is a shorten. Okay. Damn ad. The son of Dog the Bounty Hunter conducted a traffic stop, found a missing boy inside the car. So his son did. All right. That's amazing. Gary has. Okay. What other child, though? How many other children has Dog ever got involved and found? I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand what the big hype is. I mean, it gets the name further out there. It gets Sebastian's name out there. That is fantastic. I love that. I'm not knocking that. I'm just questioning the credibility of the article that was written and the characters he's coming in with. That's what I'm questioning. How old is Dog? I think they said he was 71. Because the bigger MSM networks won't put the case out there. I hope that's the point. I mean, yeah, he's retweeted them out and everything. He's attached to them, yeah. I see on Facebook, at nice address is One World Trade Center, 85th floor. How many addresses do they have? I don't know. This is... I'd be more okay if he didn't make a big circus out of this. Anyone else read the book Chapman put out about himself? He actually admitted feeding his kids cat food so he could buy... Oh. Wow. Why would you put that in print? I think my biggest thing is this, right? They created this crime space, a place for readers and writers of crime fiction to meet. Are they looking to make a book?
Sadly, I think there's going to be a lot of books written about the Sebastian Rogers case. And the most messed up part about that is there's no actual evidence. There are no facts. There are no factual leads on what happened to this little boy. And people are going to, it's okay to have an opinion. Okay, let me just say this. It's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to have speculations. But what's not okay is to actually involve yourself in these cases and harass these families and stuff and give them grief whenever you have no reason whatsoever to do it other than something inside your mind convinces you of one thing or another. And that's what I see a lot of these creators doing. They aren't helping the case. They aren't adding anything good to the case. All they're doing is causing outrage and problems within the case and giving something to talk about, because let's face it, without all of this circus and drama that's going on in the Sebastian Rogers case, what would we be talking about?
Right. I mean, that's
There's,
what I'm saying. Nobody would
yeah,
be speaking about him anymore. That's for sure. So this is interesting. Is this a picture of them at the Roadhouse on Sunday evening? Apparently, Melissa Nicole Proudfoot had posted on February 27th. I don't know why JLR's little photo's up there too. That's a bit odd. But is this the day that Sebastian, quote unquote, the Sunday before he disappeared? This isn't Texas Roadhouse. That's Red Robin. So no, it wouldn't be. Okay. Solve that one quick. He edited his Twitter now. All right, look at this. Hold on. Get away, Nelly. Stop it. I don't even really want to advertise these people, but again, I'm just really curious how somebody can just up the reward fund. Oh, okay, here we go. How can somebody just up the reward fund without permission? All right.
In this area are asked to please lock all external doors and vehicles and remain vigilant.
This is during Danilo Cavalcante. This was their big moment, their rise to the spotlight. This is how they got anything. This is how they got everything right here. Mainly because jail.
The manhunt of escaped convict. Review your surveillance cameras. Contact police if you observe anything suspicious. If you see this individual, do not approach. Call 911.
I was actually here too, and it was intense. But it has nothing to do with Sebastian. I don't know why this is their intro to Sebastian. Look for the cone.
Days and still no sign of Sebastian Rogers. Search crews have walked thousands.
That was kind of deceitful, wasn't it?
If you observe anything suspicious, if you see this individual, do not approach. Call 911 immediately. Days and still no sign of Sebastian Rogers. Search crews have walked thousands.
Who's the person? The private donor. So the private donor was originally Nick, little old Nick, and then supposedly that attorney guy that works with them offered another 25, making it 50. Dog the Bounty Hunter didn't offer any money towards it that I've seen.
Of miles this week looking for him. They've used specialized technology and sent trained dogs to help navigate the rural terrain.
It's just been a lot of search and rescue all over the property.
Residents are once again asked to check their properties for any signs of missing teen Sebastian.
If this is for right reasons, why does he need his advertisement right there on the front? I did up to 1 million.
right. Well, here's something that I almost don't want to say because I feel like it's a little discouraging, but it's a fact. And I hate to do it, but I'm actually, inclined to tell facts rather than fiction. But it is not very often, even whenever these huge rewards are offered in a missing persons case.
Right.
Nine times out of 10, whenever someone actually comes forward that knows something to try to get the money, it's because they were involved in one shape, form, fashion, or another, or them withholding that information will prevent them from getting the reward anyways. If you go look up how many times rewards are actually paid out on missing persons or on wanted people, it is very, very rare.
Right. And that's why I'm saying it's easy for somebody to come along and say, yeah, I'm also upping this by 25K. I mean, I could say that today too. The chances of anybody ever having to pony up that money is slim to none. And they know that. There's no doubt in my mind they know that. But can you just then switch the reward fund without TBI or FBI's permission and say it's now up to this amount? Do they have any right to do that? Or should they be separately advertising themselves as such? We know the FBI has offered 50K and we're going to match the 50K separately from the FBI. It should be distinguished that it's separate from the FBI reward fund. I don't think they can just say, okay, I mean, hell, I could say I want to add 1,000. Does that make it 101? You know what I mean? Like, no. I don't think you can do that. I don't know, though. I don't know.
Well, here's the whole...
led by online search.
Sorry.
Here's the whole thing about that, Granny. If this were 100% legitimate They were putting this money up with the FBI to make it $100,000 reward. Then why hasn't the
The
FBI
FBI.
come out and said something about it? That's my
Absolutely
problem
agree.
with it.
And then to say call Dog the Bounty Hunter or Nick personally, well, no, call the FBI, call TBI. Oh, he didn't
Bingo.
even have the boy's age correct. He wrote Sebastian as 16. He's 15.
Groups who are working to make sure no one forgets about him now months after Sebastian's disappearance. He is still the center of a nationwide Amber Alert as the TBI continues the investigation.
Calling some breaking news this morning. A new search is underway for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers in Sumner County. Here's a live look at the scene. This is from Jerry Barler in our News 2 First Alert Unit.
6 months ago, 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his Sumner County home. Tonight, investigators say the search for Sebastian remains active. The team...
That's a great video. When is Dog and them coming to search? When's their first search? That's what I want to know. Is Dog going to be boots on the ground searching? I'm curious how this is going to unfold. Again, the more eyes on Sebastian, the better. December, Keezy. The more eyes on Sebastian, the better. There's nothing wrong with that. I just question the motives of those he's surrounded by. I question the fact that Dog has already come in biased and saying he works for Seth Rogers. They were retained on behalf of Seth Rogers from a secret, donator. Who's the secret donator? What is going on?
Vanished in February from his family's Hendersonville.
You know, we profile missing children all the time, every night. So my question right now is anyone still searching for Sebastian?
Several agencies, including the Sumner County Sheriff.
So this is a great video. It's all news articles.
And this cases of missing children that we've ever worked on.
But Doug says he wants a person's flyer for Sebastian Rogers.
The music's too much for me. It's good job. Good job. There is an emotional ploy. Listen, again, if it gets more people talking about Sebastian, I'm all about it. I don't think there's any harm in that. More eyes, the better. I just question. We got Betty now. Not Betty. We got Molly. Now we got Dog the Bounty Hunter. Now we got this guy, Nick. We got some random news media that's like an umbrella. I mean, they just magically change what they are. They're 1 minute they're world-renowned, special agents, and the next they're freaking news articles and they're writing books. Who are these people?
Kind of reminds you of a certain dog handler, don't it?
It does. And I was wondering if she's on this site, if there's any connection. I would love to hear from her if she's by chance watching.
Maybe she would know something about it,
Right. Let me see if she's even on here. I mean, she's a film director, so we know that. Little weird. I wonder, has she ever heard of this? And I'm not saying that to accuse her of anything. I'm just genuinely curious. Let's search members. She wasn't found as a member on here, so maybe she has no involvement with it. You can go over here to members, and then you can search them. I don't know. They have a good amount of members from all over. I think they're just an umbrella. No wonder true crime creators are considered pond scum by the outside world. I'm so disappointed and angry right now. Yeah. Thank you, Freezer Bird. They're a media company. They're everything, though, right? What do you think of the fact that they change addresses and titles so often, Regina? It reminds me of the shady gas station near me. Like every time they get in trouble, they change owners and names.
I can explain that to you a little bit. A lot of times these limited liability companies, which is what an LLC is, will change their address and company whenever they get into trouble or something. Or they run under a parent company and they're a subsidiary of that parent company hidden by a bigger company, if that makes sense.
Right.
So whenever people start catching on to, oh, this is a part of this company, they will change their address and the name of the company, or whenever they get into any kind of legal issues, they will change the name of the company and the address. because as long as that entity itself doesn't exist, how can you sue it, right?
That's true. That's what I'm saying. It reminds me of it reminds me of the shady gas station.
Yeah, they also do it for tax evasion.
Mm. My emails are interesting here. I know a lot of people want me to point out that Nick has had legal troubles before. I'm aware of that. I'll be honest, I don't like judging people on their legal troubles, although Nick's were rather rather recent. Um, for those who are unaware, it was fraud based. He did fabricate racist emails between higher officials, probation officers when he was on probation. He's had a lot, and that was in 2021. He's had a lot of legal troubles, again, that had to do with fraud and things like that. But we are felon friendly up in this beach. So I don't really like pointing that part out, although I'm sure others will touch on that very much, very much. Yeah, there's a lot of articles to be found on him.
Also, I would just like to say that I suspect all of them equally because, as far as law enforcement is concerned, they have said that none of them have been cleared, correct? Right? Yes.
Right.
So, here's the problem I have. One of the problems I have with everyone on these YouTube streets that I've been seeing, everyone pushing this whole narrative of the signal jammers or the camera Wi-Fi jammer affecting the time on the timestamp of the videos. There's only one problem with that people have not realized. If you look at those cameras from Google Earth, you can see the camera. That is a hard wired camera, which means it's not running on Wi-Fi, which means it would take something internal, like someone literally wiring into that camera to jam the signal. You cannot jam a signal on a camera that is hardwired. Wireless cameras are the ones you can buy those machines and stuff and jam the signal between it because it's Wi-Fi based. Whenever it's hardwired like that, you actually have to tap into the wiring itself or the DVR camera box, whatever is recording, to change it or alter that video feed.
Well, it's stupid to believe that even, took place.
Right.
I will say I was told that the little bit of footage we're seeing from the alleged flashlights, aka the trash truck, whatever you want it to be, that there's other footage. That's not the only footage, and that's why everybody is so adamant. Those closest to the case, Seth, the Proudfoots, the police, that it is a trash truck.
Right.
Nick was Little Mama. That's Nick's article says on Thursday he's found guilty of identity theft, forgery, and other related charges.
Well, if you look at everyone on Seth's team, I mean, you guys, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to talk bad about Dog at all, but every single person that Seth has brought into this case has a criminal history.
Right.
Every last one of them, and almost all of them have some kind of fraud or theft on their history.
Well, and like people are saying, a jammer wouldn't just jam the time. That would be asinine. But if they were going to use jammers to try to jam the footage so they could kidnap a child, they would jam it all together. They
Right.
wouldn't leave any footage to be seen. They're not worried about just the date and the time.
Right, exactly. What a jammer does is actually block the signal that's recording the feed, so there would be no recording, or it would be scrambled looking.
Right. Dog is hard for publicity. I don't know, but over here on my card, because I see where you're putting that, Michelle. Again, I was given a card. Let me see this. I have that. That's stated license for news purposes only, clearance at night media.
That cone just said that jammers are illegal. Actually, jammers are not illegal, but using a jammer for an illegal activity is illegal. My sister stayed in a hotel room one time, and she found 4 cameras in that hotel room. And now she carries one of those little jammers with her anytime she uses, anytime she goes out in public. She carries one in her purse whenever she goes in bathrooms and stuff like that, or stays in a hotel room. She uses a little, it's not a powerful one or anything, but that way, if there's any cameras in her hotel room or something, because let's face it, you guys, there's a lot of pervs and stuff out here, and you never know where that video is going to end up. You know what I mean?
Right.
But my sister carries one. It's actually perfectly legal to carry jammers, but the use of it is what makes it illegal, not the jammer itself. The jammers are not that expensive. You can buy one online for like $79.
I just don't think the possibility of jammers is very realistic. Although Seth did mention jammers early on. He did mention it early on. Yeah. So again, I guess this time last year, I was told that he's the editor-in-chief. And now if you go to their website, where it lists their, their credentials or whatever you want to call it, he is the president. He's now the president. Artificial intelligence, hallucinations in the media, but believes One World is cusp of addressing these issues. His team is making strides towards solutions that promise a blend of speed, accuracy. So what? The challenge presented by artificial intelligence. Hey, Pearls girl.
Hey, how's everybody doing this morning?
Pretty good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing good. I'm really interested in this topic.
Good morning.
This is
Good
weird.
morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
So what are you thinking here?
Well, I think that's possible, and she not blaming anybody. This is not blaming anybody. Just throwing stuff out there, ideas and theories, speculation. But she is into that installation thing, and she would know about all this stuff. Now I don't know. Pardon?
Are you saying Katie would know?
Well, yeah, she's very intelligent.
Well,
She would-
yeah. And Seth has a past in it as well, to be honest. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is possible. It could have come.
But what would be the point, Pearls girl, to block out the time and not the actual footage? What would be the point and the purpose of that?
Well, honey, I don't know. I'm thinking, it could have been from either side or an individual out there, that's gotten a hold of this child and said, hey, I'll meet you such and such time outside. We'll get together. Or it could be that Seth has somebody that's against him and figured out where this little child lived and lured him out from somewhere, and not claiming nobody, but Chris could have took him to that campsite and let him go with somebody else. I mean, I'm not accusing anybody here, and I don't know anything for no facts. It's just opinions, speculations, and
Right, of course.
Allegedly. I'm not. I'm really discouraged by Seth and his actions. I'm
Right.
just really, really. He has turned this so far upside down. And in my opinion, I think Tony's done the damage.
Yeah.
I would agree with all of that, except for one thing. Seth pays Tony Mathis to do what he wants. Everybody can sit there and say, like, okay, and I used to be, oh, poor Seth myself. But look at it like this. When you hire someone, okay, and you see, and other people see the person that you hired doing these dirty deeds, and you keep encouraging this person that you hired and standing beside them and pushing the narrative just like them, why would any of us assume that Seth Rogers isn't putting Tony Mathis up to every bit of this whenever he is 100% paying him and
Well, we don't know.
100% standing beside him?
We don't know.
There is.
To be honest, we don't know if he's paying him, but I will say, given the messages I've received of private communications between people with Tony, Tony does say that Seth is his boss, and he does and says whatever Seth tells him to, which is complete opposite of what a spokesperson is supposed to do. A spokesperson is supposed to stop Seth from saying and doing certain things, not do whatever he wants them to do. So Seth is a grown man. He is a grown man. And some could say, well, and I've offered this as well, perhaps given the stress and the trauma he's under from the disappearance of his son, maybe he's not thinking correctly. Maybe he's unaware that he has these vultures around him. But he's had so many people come to him now at this point and tell him, listen, this isn't good. This is what's happening. And he continues on. He continues with these people. So, I mean, now you got Betty saying that Robin Rogers has onset dementia, early onset dementia. Like, what?
Well,
Right, Granny.
I can totally agree with that. I mean, she's come out and wigged out on them, and then she's told everybody to shut up and be quiet and all this stuff. And I mean, she shows some different personality here.
Yeah, but she didn't come out and tell everybody to be quiet until people started digging into her family. At first, she came out and told everybody dig into Katie's, and when the tides turned and they started looking into her, that's when she wanted people to be quiet.
Yeah,
right,
she totally flipped the script there.
And I completely agree with what you said about the whole becoming out of, or the whole thing about Seth and Tony doing this, and he's just going along with it. But at what point does that become willful, malicious?
Right. No, I agree. I think Seth is absolutely aware at this point. I don't think we can no longer give the whole he was unaware, he's being taken advantage of, they're tragedy vultures, they're preying on him. At this point, he is aware. And then, you have these people coming out and arguing everything, but look what Robin posted here. She's the one that said TBI has interviewed both Chris and Katie extensively. They have both been polyed and passed. Yes, Katie took more than one poly and passed.
Yeah. But he really don't need no spokesperson. I mean, really. I mean, I know this is a high profile case. I really realize that. But he looks like he does pretty good on his own.
But it made it a high profile case because of all this shit involved in it. I personally think without a doubt, I don't think that these people I don't think that they thought it would get this big.
I agree.
I hate to say it, but you know what SF Investigates wrote yesterday, what he put in his post about what he thought about Seth Rogers, right?
Yes.
Well, I got to thinking about it last night, and I can't believe I'm going to say this because I used to support Seth so much. But if you really get to thinking about it, I can think of a case in recent times where someone pushed the narrative so hard, just like this, and that was JP Miller.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That, like, when I really got to thinking about it last night, that was like the one person. I know everybody's saying, oh, look at him and Chris Watts. Oh, look. And I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, it just blows my mind that I'm even saying this, to look at it like this.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Another father that people were comparing him to. Oh, okay. Hold on, that coon. If anybody can remind me in the chat, apparently the daughter disappeared. He was all in the spotlight. He was all upset. He missed his child. And then it turned out that he was the one that did it. And then I want to point this out again, because on YouTube, he edited it. On YouTube, he fixed it. But over here, he still has that Sebastian is 16. fix it. If you're really, and then up here, right? Yo, Tennessee, we're back and not for the sights. From Zimmerman's Trail to Sebastian Rogers Mystery, we're on it. This isn't just work, it's a mission. If you got info, hit us up. Like his badass, this isn't your typical manhunt, but make no mistake, we're hunting for answers.
Exactly.
So
Set the
I'm
fuck
fixing
down.
to blow you all away, and I'm sorry for doing this, but I got to do it. And it's not that I think so much of myself that I'm saying this, but it's because I know for a fact that Seth Rogers was in the room whenever it all went down, and I said this, and allegedly with Brittany J's chat. But I'm fixing to let y'all in on a little bit of tea here.
Don't say
Go
that clown's
listen.
name.
I'm sorry, it's true though. I apologize, Granny.
That's
You're
okay.
right. She doesn't deserve any attention. I'm just pointing this out so you guys can be privy to all of this. The day before Seth Rogers went to the lab and said that the whole gun thing about looking online and stuff like that, go listen to AWJB's chat from the night before. And I said those exact words before Seth Rogers said that is what happened with the T-Rev situation.
Well, like basically you gave the excuse and then he used it.
Yes, ma'am. 100%.
Yeah.
That's something to think about.
And y'all know I can't stand T-Rev. He's a fraud. He's a liar. Everyone knows it. He's a
Honey,
scam
there
artist.
is so many out there. It's just despicable.
And while I agree for what he did, T-Rev 100% deserved to be razzed over it. But think about this. Seth had his buddy, Uncle Taco, go in there and do that, right?
Uh-huh. Wait, do what? Sorry.
To go in there and harass him after the whole Michaela thing.
Oh, yeah, they were purposely calling in and being all weird and stupid.
And they admitted that, and I know because I was on the panel when Uncle Taco came up, and I left the panel, and then he started talking about it and what they did, and he admitted all of that. So
that was disgusting.
You cannot put Seth past him and his buddies doing this petty, sly, behind the scenes mess.
Right,
You
of course
can't
he's
deny
been
that they
involved in
do
it.
it.
It's been revealed over and over again, time and time again. It's been revealed that they're behind the scenes causing trouble. They're all up in the drama. Seth said at one point, Tony's like, Seth's barely sleeping. And then Seth says, oh, I start to fall asleep and I get a text from Tony telling me so-and-so saying this about me. Like Tony is all about this drama and chaos. They are.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
And then here's a really good point. So, of course, I'm overreading different things over here. And this saying, for those that believe that the police never clear anyone, the police would not tell us when they were cleared. The police told the public they have not cleared anyone. They're mentioning the Holly Bobo case. Holly's family insisted that Ellie had told them her brother Clint had been cleared. Ellie denied this when asked by a reporter during an interview, stating no one has been cleared. However, during the trial, we found out that Holly's family was telling the truth. Clint had actually been cleared at the time Ellie made that statement. They also cleared several other people long before they found her body or even made an arrest. So basically, the police will lie to the public that nobody's been cleared.
Well, really, don't want to step in nobody's turn here, but really, that if they don't know, they can't clear nobody.
Well, they can clear by the polygraphs, by alibis, by footage of each person being at work that day. There's ways to clear, but they won't publicly clear if they have no idea what took place.
Well, polygraphs are just a tool to use. It don't just define that they are they're actually the truth. I mean,
right. Well, that's why you added with the alibi and, your investigative work, not just a poly on itself would never be able just to clear somebody, but they still use it to get an idea of look what they did with Chris Watts, right?
Yeah.
It came back, he lied on the poly and then they got a confession out of him. So they used them, but with everything else.
Well, I think it was Dahmer, but didn't he just clear it with bails on, he, It's just a tool, and really, it all points back to KP because she was the last one there. But a child can get up and walk out of the house
Right.
at
He was
at
15.
any given time. I mean, I never did. I never did run out a window or anything when I was a teenager. I was too scared to. I know that I'd get my teeth knocked out my ass, but
Well, Titanium's saying they couldn't clear her brother because he was the last one to see Aaron. He was in the home alone with her, but they did clear him, just not publicly. They searched his phone and computer and polygraphed him twice. Clint was cleared of suspicion. But over here, they deny they didn't, no one has been cleared, no matter what the relationship to Holly may be. But during trial, it came out that authorities eventually cleared Clint.
well,
So
you look at it when it
you
come
know.
on. They was I'm sorry when it come up. Oh, he's never been online. He's never done this, and then yet they still never gave Sebastian his little old Twitch or whatever it was. They
Set
they
back
never.
his switch, yeah.
Yeah, they've never seen it back. So tells me there's something in there.
It tells me it has evidentiary value, or they would have released it back to him.
Indeed,
Absolutely.
sweetheart, indeed. And that's, I think, because they said, oh, well, he don't have no access to the internet. Well, it turns out that he did. It tells me when Seth wants that back so bad that he is actually afraid that they will find something in there. And it gets me when he says, well, we're on a rescue search, but I hope we don't find him. Well, when we was in just a search for him, he didn't want him. And then CP says, oh, well, I hope he don't, I hope he don't get free. That just speaks volumes to me. If he got free, he could get help.
Not only that, but as a parent, you have to ask yourself, am I so concerned with them clearing my name that they are willing to dedicate time just in clearing me and away from finding my child?
Exactly.
No.
Well,
Because
that's for public perception. That's it. He just publicly wants to be named, cleared. Which why? Like, I'm with you. Why would that matter so much? My pal Sal, thank you. Welcome to the membership. Thank you for becoming a member.
Why would
Seth
you want? Why would you want to worry with that right now if you're innocent?
Here,
And take any kind of focus off of that child.
Exactly, because here's the thing. By that child being found, because they are focusing all their resources on it, by effect, whenever that child is found, aren't you going to be cleared if you're not guilty of anything?
Right, exactly.
Alpha male, I'm not convinced Seth is guilty by any means. I just think that he's shady. I don't think he's guilty. I'm one of the very few people that still believe that it had nothing to do with a parent. I don't think it had anything to do with a parent. I think my problem with Seth is his inconsistencies. He lied from the get-go. Everything was a lie. From the internet access to the access to talk to other people to having no headset, everything was a lie. An interview said insurance would call and tell him that Sebastian was online. He said he always knew because he would be sitting next to him. Right, but yet to find out he'd be alone for hours, and his friends would tell him. And then his friends would even have to ask, is this Seth or is this Sebastian? He lied.
Okay. Seth lied. For one thing, everyone should have realized that, Granny, because how many hours did Seth work with Sebastian having internet access? 14 hours at a time that Sebastian was alone. That right there should have been a red flag on that statement.
Right,
But
14 to 16 hours overnight.
Right, with Sebastian there alone with internet access.
And
exactly.
Seth also said that when Sebastian was at his house, he didn't have him taking the drugs because he didn't want him under drugs. But then he said, "Oh, I had him set the alarm on his clock, on his watch, to remind him it's time to take his medicine." He just contradicts himself a lot. I don't think they lied about internet access. They said it was, they washed over him with the internet. He earned the internet. Which part do you consider to be a lie? Maybe I missed it. Yeah, 12 to 16 hours. Sorry, ladies.
But see that in itself rises another question with me 100%, because if Sebastian was alone, for 12 to 14 hours at a time by himself from Seth's place, and someone met Sebastian online. It's none of this makes sense, and I'm fixing to tell you why, because I'm fixing to contradict myself. Because if Sebastian was being alone for 14 hours by himself at Seth's place, and he did have the ability to meet someone online from Seth's internet and talk to them online at Seth's internet, why did they take him from the Proudfoot home where allegedly every single thing was monitored on Sebastian's devices? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. It really does. I don't think, I mean, the way Seth goes back to when he was a child, and all this extra accessibilities for his condition, but then they didn't determine that he had a condition till a year ago. Why are they saying all the special ed and special educations and all this stuff was back years ago, but he's just now being diagnosed with autistic?
And you know what? It's awfully funny whenever I was looking at this case from the suspicion, because I suspect all three of them equally. I'm not going to lie to anybody. They're all three suspects in my book. Okay. Until Sebastian's found and we know what happened to him, they're all suspects, all of them, because they had contact with him that we know. So I'm just going to say that to start with. But here's the funny thing, Granny. Whenever I was talking about the Proudfoot side of the suspicion on this case, I never received people in my chat threatening me or coming up on my panel whenever I invited someone else to come up on my panel. It was Tony Mathis, and I know this because of IP address. It was Tony Mathis come up on my panel, okay, and did the whole tried to blur his lens thing to where I couldn't see anything, but you could still see the background. And he was in the same room where that other bed headboard was behind him. I could see it perfectly clearly, and the other person in my chat could too. Okay, and it was on StreamYard, and he threatened me and my co-host, calling us every nasty name under the book, telling us under the name Granny Proudfoot, and threatened us and called us every name under the book, and said that we needed to stop talking about their grandson immediately.
Oh my.
Because I was calling out Seth. And you know what? I promise you 100% that BJ is the one that called Seth and told him that I was talking. Now it was his turn. Because let me tell you something, I treat all suspects equally. And if your kid comes up missing and we don't have no facts or anything like that, I'm gonna look at you all suspiciously.
Well, that's
until
how
the truth comes out.
That's
Right.
exactly what we'd all do.
But it wasn't until I said something negative about Seth that I got attacked. And I know there's so many other creators out here that can say the exact same thing.
Well, I spoke negatively about Seth from the very jump. I've always took this stance. I seen right through him from the very beginning. I just couldn't stand him. But Mystic Firefly, no, where do you get that any man told any woman that her child had to move out at 16, 15? Where do you get that from? Like, respectfully, where do you hear that from? Uncle Taco is more than welcome to come up. I'd love to hear what he has to say, especially given that he's Uncle Taco, but didn't find out about Sebastian's disappearance until what, 2 weeks? Is that what he said? But that's not the actual real Uncle Taco. That's somebody clowning him.
See, this has been so botched in every way. There is a creator out there. She's on there 5 or 6 times a day, and she's botched this thing till no end. And it burns me up that she thinks that she's all these things. Yet she's not contributed nothing to the case other than to show herself not capable. And it
sent
makes
you a
me,
not so nice message, straight talker. Sorry.
It's just pathetic to me that they would allow, even you two, to allow this person to keep on, even in the case, or say you two, that they would allow her to keep doing this stuff. I mean, she's putting out all kinds of false stuff out there.
Yeah.
Those people wasn't following her.
Well, and here's the thing, you know, she's just doing all that for her own attention. That's why she came on it late, and she did it to seek revenge on JLR. As for the whole idea that that Sebastian came up missing on Katie's watch, yeah, because that was his primary home. Guess whose weekend it was supposed to be? Guess who asked to switch weekends?
Exactly, Seth's.
27 years, Amy. I've been friends with the Proudfoots for 27 years. I made this channel 4 years ago because I knew Sebastian would disappear one day. What a stupid question. Friends with. I'd be friends with the family to defend them against lies.
I'm not defending nobody, and I'm not holding anybody accountable. Yes, I did feel sorry for Seth at the first. I did.
I feel sorry.
And I guess because Sebastian was not with his dad when it happened.
But what if he was? He could have very easily been. It was his weekend. Is that, you know what I mean? We can say they're number one suspect because that's where he was last seen. Yeah, sure. But you can't adamantly come out and say that this is because Katie was last with him, that she did something. That you can't say that and be adamant saying it. Children disappear from their homes. Children disappear while at malls. Children disappear out front of their houses. It doesn't mean the person last with them or inside the house actually did something.
That's true.
How would Seth know what? He doesn't live there. How would he know what?
And
I don't think it's the real Taco.
I
haven't seen Seth take any accountability. I'll be honest. I haven't seen him take even a speck of accountability. He didn't take accountability for claiming Sebastian never got the proper therapy. He didn't take accountability for the fact it took his son, according to himself, a year to learn how to write the letter S. He didn't take accountability for his divorce. He didn't take accountability for not having medical. I've seen Seth Rogers not take accountability for nothing. He blamed everybody around him for all of his shortcomings.
Yeah, he's definitely a whiner. He needs to step up.
Yep.
I mean, evidently he don't want to work either.
You don't worry about how I'll spin my position. I'm not worried about what the public thinks of me, Amy. I care more about the safe return of a 15-year-old child. If it ever came out that the Proudfoots were involved in the disappearance of Sebastian, I would have no problem coming out here and saying as much. Okay? But unlike your little friends in the chats you visit, I'm not going to sit here and scream that they took his life. That I'm not going to do. The same way I haven't put that on Seth Rogers. That's just ridiculous.
I think he was kidnapped. I really do.
And I'm curious how they're all going to spin it. How every single one of you assholes that are out here adamantly saying that these parents are involved, something I've never said and never would, how any of you are going to spin it. How are you going to spin the fact that the FBI believes the child was kidnapped? How are you going to spin it? And honestly, this is the problem, because early on, instead of Seth coming out here and keeping the focus on his son, he tried to displace his own shortcomings. And instead, he started saying things like, well, Katie did this and Katie did that, and my nuclear family, and woe is me, and his whole Eeyore stance. And he has created this position of teams. You're either Team Seth Rogers or you're Team Proudfoot, right? Exactly. Instead of everybody coming together and being in Team Sebastian Rogers. But no. Because how would Seth seek revenge on his scorned ex-lover? Or diarrhea, the fact that Chris Proudfoot stepped up to the plate where he didn't. It's actually quite infuriating. He made this what it is.
I agree.
Not only that, but how many times is law enforcement going to have to come out and tell people there's no evidence of basically anything in Sebastian's case? I mean, that's the reason they're offering a $50,000 reward, before people have to understand, yes, is it okay to have thoughts and opinions and suspect and this, that, and the other and speculate? Of course it is.
All right.
But there's these people out here that are actually calling these families and harassing them. Yeah. Okay. And rallying people to harass them online.
Right. On the basis that they think their little armchair detective work or their personal little fee-fees no better than the fucking actual investigators on the case. Right. Local LE, the law enforcement, TBI. You don't think they would have a lot more if there was a lot more?
Exactly. And what's more is, if everyone really, really thinks about it and goes back to the beginning of this case, aside from Katie Proudfoot telling on Nancy Grace, or you know what I'm talking about, her uh, recount of what happened, we would not know all of this stuff, all the negatives and all of this, until we didn't know any of this until Seth started painting the narrative against Katie. And that's a fact.
I agree. I totally agree.
Thank you, JoJo. I appreciate you. Thank you.
And we're talking about the lights, and that's been twisted every which way. Of course, we've enjoyed it because we want to know too. But those are not a those are not a trash truck.
I don't know. They could be, because we're only getting a cut off image. We're not getting any other camera footage. We're getting a recording of a recording that is actually cut off and made to, you can't really see shit within it. I mean, do I personally think it's a trash truck? No. But do those closest to the investigation believe it is? Yeah.
Well, the reason why I say not is because I followed a trash truck. I followed several lately, just to see, those trash trucks has got blinking lights all over them. They blink everywhere.
Yeah, but
Front,
you're also
back,
talking just 2
sides.
blocks up. Right.
And not only that, but if you've watched it from the very beginning, and like I said, I'm not trying to trash Seth, because I mean, Lord knows, you guys, if Sebastian's found tomorrow and none of these parents had anything to do with it, I think all of us that have even speculated are going to feel some kind of way. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Guilty.
not really, because I'll be honest with you. My speculation on Seth is based off his behaviors as a person, not as somebody I think did something to Sebastian. I'm judging Seth off his inconsistencies, his woe is me, his need to blame everybody around him for his own shortcomings, the fact that he gave a random woman that gave him a little bit of attention, $12K out of money that was raised for him to search for Sebastian, the searches in which he never took place in. Everything I'm judging Seth off of is what Seth has done, not Seth in the disappearance of Sebastian, but Seth thereafter the disappearance of Sebastian. Because I don't think he's involved. I never
agree.
did. I think he's a POS. That's my opinion of him.
Well,
I agree.
I
on
look
that.
at the level of the trash truck, and the landscapes of it. To me, it looks like house floodlights.
Right.
It looks to me like it's a house floodlight. It's maybe one on each side of that house floodlight, and those are easily switched on. Now, what the flashlights you see, the flashlights coming, the light that everybody's calling a trash truck, to me looks like floodlights on a home at the level that it's at because of the landscape. Then I see, and this is just my speculations and opinions, then you see these little flashlights that's coming towards it and then one going back. I just don't, I can't grasp that would be a trash truck on the level, the landscape of that area.
Maybe they're saying it's a trash truck because it's actually evidence and whatever they think may have taken place, and we weren't supposed to know about it.
That's very true.
They're allowed to lie to the public. Maybe we just weren't meant to know about it at this point. Maybe tipping us off to that. Maybe, the video being released and then, whatever her name was, Bonnie, Binocular, whatever her name was, coming out saying everything she said. Maybe we weren't supposed to know all of that.
I mean, that's very true. It could, I mean, they're calling it that and telling us that, but I think that is more in the investigation than most of anything.
Well, here's the whole thing about the video, though. Until they give us a clip of a daylight recording with that, and then they show us a video of normal night activity as well to overlay on it, we're really not going to know 100% like anything that was in that video, where the lights came from or anything.
Well, they mentioned that there was evidence in the backyard. Now, what the evidence was, I have no clue.
Who mentioned that and when?
This was, and I can't tell you because it's been a couple of months ago, but they said that there was evidence in the backyard. Now, this is what
Evidence of what, though?
I have no idea. They
I've
never
never
did
heard
say.
that. That was said by professionals, by like LE, FBI.
No, it was said on a channel that they had found evidence in the backyard.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I find it
Because
hard
it's,
to believe. Like what? A YouTuber said it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't
yeah,
take anything
because
like that I'd take it at face value.
TBI and Sumner County have both on their web pages, all of them, explicitly said multiple times they have no evidence, no leads. I mean, that is literally like why they are offering the reward.
Right.
You
Yeah.
guys, it's hit a complete dead end. They don't know what happened to Sebastian. Nobody does.
Well, and that's what October Sky said. Has anyone watched any other videos of the trash truck? They come all the time, so there would be another video of it. I'm being told there are more footage of it, but we're not entitled to everything. That same thing happened in was it Riley Strain? I kept saying they obviously have more footage than what we're aware of, and then sure enough, they came out with more footage than we were aware of. We're not entitled to everything that the police have, although it would dead speculation and it would help out a lot. Doesn't mean they have to come out and give it to us.
That's true. Well, now I'm just going off of what a YouTuber had said that
Right.
they had found that. I'm not going off of anything here that I
Right.
know.
But you know what? I will tell you this. Do you know what this whole video footage thing reminds me of? It reminds me of the Linda Lane footage and how everyone said, oh, it's faked or oh, it's not anything like yada, yada, yada. And it turns out that it was, something that mattered, but it wasn't of evidentiary value. Maybe that's kind of like what's going on with this, maybe it's not of evidentiary value because just like we know now, with the Linda Lane footage, they had better footage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this could be a small puzzle to that whole piece. I mean, it could be a small piece to the whole puzzle. Set it
Yeah.
backwards, but yeah, it could absolutely be. There. Again, they have to have more than what we have.
And it's so strange to me, and not claiming to blame anybody here, but it's so strange to me that he left with no shoes, but she noticed the flashlight. I mean, who would notice that? I wouldn't have a clue if my son was to have left at home when he was at home that what all he had.
It could be, well, to be fair, Pearl, it could be that they were very organized, right? Sebastian cleaned his room, they had everything organized, everything was, if Sebastian had a flashlight he normally had with him or carried by him or kept on his bedside table, whatever it may be, and that flashlight is suddenly missing. You know what I mean? Like, is this something Sebastian carried around a lot? Is this something that he recently took, being autistic, is it one of the items that he took comfort in and had with him all the time, so they noticed it was missing? I don't think it's very unusual, especially if they're an organized family, which it sounds like they are.
Yeah.
But I can see how that would be weird. I mean, me personally, I don't pay attention to details, and that's one of my biggest flaws is I couldn't tell you what my children were wearing this morning because I'm not a detail-oriented person.
Yeah.
I don't focus on those things.
And too, you go back, they bring out all this bad stuff and not really none of the good. I don't see no recent pictures of that child. They go back on all of this bad stuff, Sebastian and poor old Katie and her life growing up, and that ought not to have nothing at all to do with this case.
Right, but the only reason it does is because people dug it out and put it out there. Katie didn't put that out there. Seth's the one that put out most of the traumas and, all about them having Katie not going through with previous pregnancies. And Seth put out all that personal shit, not them. And then Seth's PI came out and said on that show, oh, well, I know about so-and-so's family. Maybe you should look into that, which is why Chris freaked out because he knew at that point
I guess what I'm trying to say the most of is that it hurts me. It hurts me that they would put the trash out instead of any of the good. You know, it's all about her family and why she could not help that. She had no control over that stuff. And just bringing out trash, and that has nothing to do with that baby. And I call it a baby. I'm 67 years old, but he's a baby to me. And that's what's burning me up, is stop bringing all this stuff up about who's what and who's done what, all this stuff. Yeah, if anything was to be slung, Seth is not a good person, in my opinion, you know, for bringing this stuff up. And I don't think that Tony's helping the matters.
You know, I agree with that, because Seth Rogers himself said some really American Pie embarrassing comments about his own son on an interview.
Yeah, with his little friend here, Uncle Shady fucking Krusty Taco, right? You sit up on panels talking sexual, making sexual innuendos, and getting all your little 5 minutes of fame off the fact that you're known in the neighborhood as Uncle Taco. Don't come in my fucking chat and insult me.
Yeah.
I seen your little shitty comment. How's your new YouTube career coming off the fact that your alleged nephew there disappeared? How's it working out for you, Uncle Taco? Have you got any attention you wanted?
I think that was all it was about.
Of course that's all it was about, little creepy piece of shit. You're a creep. And I'm a grandfather of 6. Let me ask you this, sir. As a grandfather of 6, where are your kids to raise those grandchildren? Why are they in your home? Tell me how great of a grandparent you were. Tell me how great of a parent you are.
If you were such a great parent, why are you raising your grandkids?
That's what I'm saying. Come in my chat.
If your children are alive and you're such a great parent, why are you raising your grandkids?
Yep.
And I wouldn't even I allowed you to sit in here. I took your little digs, took your little insults. I still let you play along, let you in the chat. But when you try to personally insult me, that's where I take issue with you, Uncle Taco. Tell us again how many times you played online video games speaking with Sebastian as he had no access to the internet. How many times did you have to message your friend Seth and say, hey, is that you on the account or is it Sebastian? How many other adults were conversing with Sebastian over his father's account meant for adults without any child protected, what are they called on there? Because he was playing on an adult account. Aggravate the shit out of me, I'll tell you that. With a 15-year-old child, she's not allowed to sleep in. These Pinterest moms and these Pinterest fathers that do all the right things. And I heard somebody say the other day, oh, well, I find it weird that they didn't, give Sebastian a bath and tuck him in and do his homework and pick out his clothes for the next day. I find it weird if any of you are bathing, tucking in, and picking out clothes for a 15-year-old child. I find that weird. How about that?
Yes, this is a public service announcement brought to you by Granny's Watching Channel. Don't let your kids play with anyone that asked them to call him uncle.
There's a reason. There's a reason.
If he's not their uncle.
Right. And there's a reason that there are children, there are safety nets on the internet for children. You make it known that most children aren't even allowed to be on certain games or on certain accounts. They're supposed to be older, Granted, Sebastian was older, but his own father told us he had, the mentality of a 10-year-old. So you asked me why Seth, the great father that loved playing video games with his son, never set up a separate account for his son to play. Why was Seth allowing Sebastian to play under his name, his account, with his adult internet friends? To the point where they had to say, oh, I know this is you, Sebastian. Or, hey, let me check in with Seth and make sure this isn't Seth, that this is Sebastian. It's weird. It's weird. And I think you're weird, Uncle Taco.
Well, anybody that would come up and do stuff like that and put out false claims and do this for their own clicks, they're pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
They're disgusting and pathetic, wasted pieces of human flesh.
It just amazes me that all these people want to go harass other people in Seth's name, but they don't even realize they're being used by Seth. Because if Seth were any kind of a friend, you wouldn't find out 2 weeks after Sebastian went missing that he's gone missing. You would find out the day he went
Right.
missing, because I know I'm going to call my
Uncle.
best friend immediately. Also,
Oh,
it's
he
awfully
didn't call the
funny.
news either until a week later. So are we shocked he waited another week to call Uncle?
Right. It's also awfully funny that Seth didn't want to validate Uncle Taco until Uncle Taco went and did his shady stuff on T-Ref. Now, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you had to play a little troll, didn't you? Now, all right, so that's a fair point, Ebony. That is a very fair point. And what I will say to this is touche. To any mother of a teenage boy, I understand why we don't just randomly go in our children's rooms. Get it, understand it. I think there's a big difference than a mother simply saying, I think you can all understand why I don't just go into a teenage child's room, than sitting there telling us how confused your son was when there was a wet spot on him. I think there's just little big differences between the two. The
And that
scripted
didn't even have to be.
details.
That didn't
Right.
even have to be mentioned.
No, and was that before or after he pretended to masturbate on panel? Was that little story
That was
shared before or
before.
after? It was before. Okay. Just
So
making sure.
Daddy wasn't showing him no better, because evidently he was running around nude in the house. Well, that little boy, CP said, well, he's bad about showing himself, or one of them said he's bad about showing himself.
That was Seth. Seth said he would say things like, here's mine, now show me yours. That all came from Seth. All of it came
Okay,
from Seth.
Seth. Okay, well, you know what? When your daddy runs around naked,
Allegedly.
that child, you are raised, when you're raised around what you're used to and what's being done to you. And
Yeah.
that child didn't know no different.
And just the whole, I don't know why that tone was ever placed on it. That's what, it's just gross. It's inappropriate. It's, I just.
And then Dad gets up on screen and does the same thing. Oh, well, wait a minute,
Yeah. Oh, don't interrupt me. I'm close. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
disgusting. And October
Pathetic.
Skies, I think the part that's missing here is that Sebastian allegedly went to school because he didn't clean his room. Seth said, I'm going to beat your ass. So he went to school. He reported to a teacher that his father said, I'm going to beat your ass. When the teacher contacted CPS, this is all according to Seth. Seth sat Sebastian down at 5 years old. Now, remember, everybody's saying an autistic child. He sat a 5-year-old autistic child down and showed him a bloody scene out of Mortal Kombat and said, now, son, that's an ass beating. I think that's weird. I think that's weird parenting.
That is very weird parenting.
He's just disgusting all the way around, and he's made it disgusting.
And they all added their own little undertones. I'm not dismissing that. I understand what people are saying about Katie saying you don't want to walk in it. Yeah, but I relate to it. But I understand how people are like, well, Katie said that. And I just don't think the two are comparable. I think both are wrong. Both didn't need to be stated. But I think one was just a mother speaking amongst other mothers, and the other one was a father on a panel with a bunch of women and his friend Taco being highly inappropriate and keeping that tune throughout.
I completely agree, Granny, because whenever Katie said that, I felt it and understood it as a mother. But whenever Chris made his, yes, I agree with that 100%. But whenever Seth said his comments on that interview that person deleted, because Seth asked him to, whenever he said that, it felt icky.
It did. Absolutely did.
And Katie did do it in a decent manner. I mean, she went around it in a decent manner.
She wasn't graphic. She wasn't nasty. She said it like a mother would to another mother. And to be fair,
Exactly.
Ebony, I think the timeline's a little mixed up there. I think Seth, maybe I'm wrong, but I seen it the other way. I think Seth made his presence here. He reached out to JLR, said, hey, film them rubbing my shoulder, and da-da-da. And then we have the fact that Seth was allegedly hitting on all these searchers. And then we're playing a clip of him at when they're on the bridge and it's beautiful, a whole bunch of people there. And he makes that inappropriate joke about wanting to be in the middle of the two women. And, he just is inappropriate at inappropriate times. Does that mean he's guilty? No. Again, it's a character of him that I don't like. It's to me, it's a flaw. It's not appropriate.
No,
it's almost like Seth is so warped in his own mind. He says, if you don't support me, then you don't care about my son, is almost the narrative, like he's trying to push on everyone, that if you don't
Yes.
support him, and agree with his narrative and kiss his butt, then you better not talk about his son.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it's like.
I agree.
I agree with you 100%.
I mean, he's made that clear. This is the Seth show. That's my son. How many times we hear him say that? That's my son. I named him. That's my son. Very possessive undertone. And you're right. He dismisses anybody who won't go around along with his narrative. That's why Seth would never have a conversation. He would never have a conversation with somebody like me. He wants the people that are going to sit there and allow him to sit up there like they're long lost BFFs and, make all the attention about him. And he's the spotlight. And I mean, the biggest thing to me was when he said, when they asked him, he was meant to be on the show to talk about Sebastian. We were meant to hear more about Sebastian. And when they asked, how much did he weigh at birth? Instead of him admitting that he doesn't remember, granted, a lot of men don't, no big deal. He had to throw in, not as much as the weight on my shoulders. Yeah. See right
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah, he's a whole different cloth. I'm telling you, he's cut from a whole different cloth. I don't know.
Right.
I
Because
just go ahead,
go
darling.
ahead, I'm sorry. No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I've lost my train of thought now. I'm old.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
No, darling.
I've
go
lost
ahead.
mine too.
I get that, Ebony. I get that. I just respectfully disagree. I understand when people are being dramatic, they're like, oh, you heard a noise? You heard a noise? You didn't go check on your 15-year-old child? No, because he responded thereafter. When I said, I don't care what you're doing in there, but get to bed, he responded, yes, mom. He responded. I understand not going and checking. He's not a toddler. He's not a baby. And I find it funny that the father that would leave him unattended, unsupervised for 12 to 16 hours would claim that he would then go check. That if he heard that noise, he would check. How would you do that, sir? You weren't even home.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Also, something else I've been thinking about, Granny, because I kind of suspected and speculated on that myself, and I look at everything objectively whenever I look at it. And as a mother, can I ask you something? Do your kids do certain things and make certain noises in their bedrooms that, as a mother, whenever you hear it, you know what it is, and you're like, you better quit and go to bed?
Yeah. Like when I hear the controller to the video game and I'm like, I know what you're doing in there. It's bedtime or, you just know. And if they respond, I'm not going to go check. Now, if I hear a bang and I don't get a response, of course I'm going to check.
Right.
And
So
here,
what if
hindsight has a great question here. If Sebastian ran away, it's clear. Well, no, it's not. I'm sorry. I thought you asked the question. My question is, when Sebastian ran away and Seth got that phone call, why didn't Seth check his home?
Wow.
If I got a phone call.
Wow.
Right?
Granny. Holy smokes.
What do you
wow.
call and where are you? What do you check your house, check your neighborhood? Did he try coming to me? Instead he says, I try not to speak, so I didn't want a speeding ticket. Wouldn't you slow down and go the path that he would know that you normally drive and look around for your son? Or would you immediately go in the house, plop your ass down, and claim that you were watching everybody's body language?
Granny, stop. You just gave me too much to think about.
I mean, honestly,
Holy smokes. You know what? Absolutely. Where if someone called and said your kid was missing, if anything in your brain related to, ooh, they ran away because they hate those parents, why wouldn't you check your own front doorstep for your kid?
Or other relatives, right? Well, I'm going to call grandma. I'm going to call it. Have you seen him? Did he call you? Is he with you? As far as we know, none of that took place.
Well, no, Granny lives in Texas. He ain't gonna make it to Texas.
No, not
but your own doorstep.
But
like
did he
your
call
own...
Granny? Did he call? Listen, Mom, you said before Sebastian told you about abuse. Did he come to you? Did he call you? Do you know where Sebastian is right now? Nothing.
She claimed he did tell her the abuse.
Right, I know. And that she kept it a secret because she promised him to secrecy.
Well,
if I ever teach my children that abuse is kept secret.
If she was a nurse practitioner, she had a mandatory demand on her to tell. I don't care if it was my grandchild and that stuff was going on. Hey, you know what? I'd be so far up their ass they wouldn't even know what to do.
Right, unless the abuse was, her own
But
son,
this
then
was
maybe you'd be a little hushed about it. Southern Sass said that was my question to him at the search, and he didn't answer. So you asked him why he didn't check his home or his neighborhood, and he didn't answer.
Well,
right.
guess
And
what? My grandchildren are being abused by my son. And you know what? They're being investigated. So I don't give a damn what it is. Old kids, young kids,
You report it.
babies, dogs, old people. They're going to get it.
Right. You don't keep that secret. Hey, Tammy, thank you. Especially if the child that's coming to you and claiming that they're being abused is a child with special needs. You have to tell them, I'm sorry, we need to tell somebody this. And here's my thing too with that. Sebastian had no problem allegedly seeking help because both parents claimed that Sebastian lied to authorities. Chris said it and Steph said it. That Sebastian lied to authorities or exaggerated a situation to get CPS involved. So he had no problem speaking up for help. But we're supposed to believe he called Grandma Robin, and Grandma Robin didn't make any calls to authority. None. You kept it a secret. You locked in key a secret of abuse with a 15-year-old autistic child.
Well, you know
Steph
what?
said it as well, Mystic. Steph said it as well.
She's a mandatory reporter because she is a nurse practitioner. She was responsible and may not be free for that from that either.
I don't even
bingo. But you have to look at it this way. This also came from the same person that said there was video of Chris Proudfoot ripping down flyers, and that has yet to. I'm waiting. I'm still waiting to see those videos. Bingo.
I don't believe that.
No, of course not. That was just something they said to further the whole, oh yeah, he's so bad. He doesn't want Sebastian found. He's ripping down the flyers. Meanwhile, they're giving money towards billboards.
We got a nut that's coming from Florida.
Wouldn't they just ignore that? If they really didn't want Sebastian found, would they donate towards these billboards, the biggest advertisement, well bigger than a flyer on a freaking pole? I mean, come on.
She knew that was illegal in that town to put up flyers on anything. She knew that town did not allow that.
Ask yourself this.
She may not have known because I don't think she checks laws. But after the fact, she found out why they were ripped down. And it wasn't because of the Proudfoot.
She's an investigator. She's a journalist. She's a forensic. She's a everything.
Right.
Ask yourself this. If everyone honestly thought that Sebastian Rogers had been kidnapped, okay, just hear me out on this, please. If everyone honestly believed that Sebastian had been kidnapped, okay, what reason, if Seth Rogers wasn't playing the victim of Katie Proudfoot and Chris Proudfoot, if Seth wasn't playing that card, what legitimate reason, which he doesn't have one in my opinion, but what legitimate reason would he claim to get people to send him money if his child were kidnapped? Because if it is in fact a stranger danger kidnapping, the only ones that would be able to get a hold of everything needed to find Sebastian would be the feds or law enforcement.
Right.
So what would the motivation for people to send him money except he's a victim? There is none.
That's true.
And I think that's exactly what the narrative has been from day one. And y'all, I'm sorry. Again, I'm not attacking Seth, but he plays this crap out like a soap opera star.
Well, that's exactly it. And that's my answer to Bonnie's journey. Yes, I'm really hard on Seth. I am, because I felt like Seth made, like you say here, all eyes on Seth. Seth wanted all eyes on him. Every opportunity, from regular, popular YouTubers right down to media outlets, every opportunity that Seth Rogers was given to bring awareness to Sebastian, we heard more about Seth and his woe is me and his animosity towards Katie than we did about Sebastian. That is why I can't stand him. I understand Katie was the last one with Sebastian, period. There is no evidence after that. But him being with Katie isn't even evidence of anything. Seth's the one that came out here and said it was supposed to be his weekend, but he asked Katie. Maybe it was a setup from Seth. Who knows? We don't know. We're not elite. All I know is Seth asked for this attention. He loves this attention. He's did his darnest to maintain this attention. So he got it.
Well, also, though, and I wanted to go back on this because this was a question that I had. If CP didn't get back home till 2 or after, and he was told early that morning, he didn't have no reason to stay if he was coming to look for a child. Why would he have not say this was 6:30 when she called him, and he didn't get there? It's only 3 hours away, 3 hours and 38 minutes away. Why did he not just come on?
Wait, I'm sorry. You said Seth,
Okay.
but then you said 3 hours.
Okay.
Do you mean
Memphis is
Chris?
3 hours and 35 minutes or
Right, so
38
you're talking
minutes.
about Chris, not Seth.
Yeah.
Okay, so if Chris, what was it again?
Why did he not get there till after 2 something? If a child is missing, why would he have not just left at 6:30 when she called him and said, "Hey, he's not here. He's not in the house." Did he not have any intentions of coming home? Because someone made the remark that, hey, he got angry on the job and they told him to go home at 11.
Well, for one, you can't just leave your job site, right? Like he's operating a crane, so he has to wait for a man to come in. Maybe he got aggravated because nobody was coming in quick enough. I don't know. I will say, and all of their defense, you don't normally think your child's not going to be found. Your
Yeah.
first thought is, and I'll never find my child again, right? So like you kind of think like, oh, okay, like, you normally don't hear of a child disappearing and not being found. It's less common. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think there's shady things with all of them. I do. Hey, PM.
Go ahead, honey.
According to who, Mystic Firefly? According to who? That he had an explosion at work that day. Who told us that?
Well,
The only thing I can,
I
the
think
only,
that comes from a caller that said that they worked with him.
Right. They wouldn't
And
identify themselves.
He had gotten aggravated on the job. Maybe it was because they didn't release him in time.
Right. Maybe it's because he just got a phone call that his child's missing. His wife's frantic and he's stuck on his crane. Maybe.
It could have been.
the only thing I can say to everyone saying that I'm just trashing Seth is, look, if you think I'm just trashing Seth, go look. I'm the one that made the video about the hand gesture with Katie. Okay. I suspect them all. They're all equally yoked, in my opinion.
Well,
Equally.
in my opinion, you're really not. You're in my opinion, Seth's doing that to himself, honey. So
yeah, he is.
For the
I
chat,
mean,
the people that's saying that she's slamming, no, Seth's doing that himself.
Everything that's being spoken on is coming out of what Seth has done after Sebastian's disappearance. Thank you so much, Goody. Thank you. Nothing. It was never vetted. It was never vetted. He wasn't on a crane at 6 a.m. None of this is vetted. This is all speculation, rumors. What we do know is that if Chris was not where he was meant to be while he was meant to be there, they would have never said there was, that they were at work. If we're going to believe that Seth was at work, why aren't we going to believe that Chris was at work? They will be. It just I don't get how people pick and choose which part of it.
Well, he was asleep, they claimed. I mean, I don't know that for no fact. I don't know nothing here for a fact.
That's what Terry said. Terry said that he was asleep for unaccounted on camera for 2 hours.
Got a good job, huh?
It's exactly right, Mystic Firefly. They don't vet it. There's no proof that it's a co-worker. They don't ask them to prove themselves. It just offers clicks and views, and then the rumors go. Just like the rumor of the power washer and the mattress in the garage and, all these things, which conflict other stories, but yet people don't put 1 and 2 together and say, well, wait a minute. This one-time stranger that called in as a supposed neighbor that no other neighbor knows, no other neighbor co-signs this neighbor, who is supposed to come back on the show and show himself and further speak, never did, but people still run with everything that random caller said as fact.
Right.
I mean, I could have Luna Girl come up here right now and say she's a neighbor and give a bunch of bullshit. Doesn't mean it's true.
The only thing that I can say in my mind, without a shadow of a doubt, that is
I
fact,
just said it
even
was a
though-
rumor, Bonnie. But you're running with the fact that Chris wasn't on the crane at 6 a.m. So if I want to run with the fact that Seth Rogers was sleeping, I guess we'll run together with the rumors, just on opposite sides. See how that works?
even like there's no actual evidence to support this, the only conclusion I've come to without a shadow of a doubt in my mind that is a fact at this point about the Sebastian Rogers case is Sebastian Rogers did not leave his house intending to not come back. I think whatever happened to him without him having his shoes on, he didn't just run away for good and leave and plan on never coming back. You don't do that barefoot. You know what I'm saying?
I
Unless
agree.
he
And
was,
it was cold here. I know. I live in Tennessee. It
they
was
were,
cold. It was
I
they,
think
cold.
whatever happened so fast. Either he was lured outside and he thought he was only going to be outside for a few seconds. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like to meet with someone. Maybe someone said, "Oh, he met him online and
unless,
said."
unless he got so upset that he just ran out the house. And autistic children, their emotions get, maybe he just ran out the house with no idea of anything. But if you listen to what private investigators who have done groundwork say, they believe that Sebastian ran away on his own.
Well, could he have overheard a conversation, maybe them arguing and it be over that child? And he just says, well, you know what? I don't have to be here.
I asked that. I said, could Sebastian have overheard any type of argumentative conversation? Did he overhear, hey, he's getting ready to go live with his dad? Was there something like that?
And
I don't
wasn't
know.
it Seth that got it out that, oh, well, they're trying to get him to come and live with Seth, that their marriage is, not doing good. And, they're trying to get Sebastian to go and live with Seth. And maybe they were in an argument that night. I mean, I don't know, but that child's just saying, well, you know what? Forget this. Forget it.
There's always that possibility. That's the thing. We don't know. And this is why police don't tell us anything. And this is why the parents don't want to speak anymore, because you have people that take a little bit of something and turn it into this big thing when it's nothing. It's a shame, really. It's really a shame.
I
You
feel
know,
sorry for that child.
not only that, but did we not, like, honestly, did we not learn anything in the Caleb Harris case recently? Did we not? He was barefoot. He ended up never going back to his apartment.
Right.
They looked
Yeah.
for him, searched that entire area, and he was found in the most unlikely of places, and they never even bothered checking it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that whatever happened, I think he did maybe leave the house willingly, but I do not think he ever intended not to come back inside because of the cold weather and the no shoes. I can't help it.
Well, don't
I think
forget
that
too that
whatever happened to him was not willing for him, if that
the
makes sense,
police
because
aren't
of the no
confirming.
shoes.
The police are not confirming that he was barefoot. Thank you for coming to Member Cash. Welcome. Thank you. They're not confirming that either, which I find weird.
Right.
Well, that one child that left, I think he's a man now. They found him like 3 years later and he was homeless. But they did find him. He was alive. He was doing
Right.
well.
There's many situations like that. Who called you ignorant? Did I call you ignorant, Bonnie? I do feel like your comments are ignorant. And you don't know the parents in this case either, right? But yes, ma'am, have the day you deserve.
I
3
come
months,
down.
SS, thank you. These pop cases are always the same, but this one is the sickest we've ever seen. The only dad close to Seth we've ever seen was Michael Long, which should tell all. That's sad.
And what's another sad thing is look at poor little old Summer Whale. It didn't get this crazy.
No, it did. It did. Summerwell's got this crazy, if not crazier. It was as reckless. It was bad. It was bad. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was really bad.
Well,
91% of missing kids are in danger at runaway. 71% leave home unprepared, no food, clothes, etc. It wasn't cold out that night, in the 50s, not the 30s. Oh, that's okay. A lot of people are. I mean, quite frankly, a lot of people are. Unless you work construction or knows nobody works construction, it's hard to understand. Okay, I apologize, Bonnie. Please be respectful to other people's opinions. A lot of us are highly, emotionally motivated. I know Bonnie mentioned she has an autistic child of herself. Perhaps for that reason alone, and his close to her, we can all, feel differently and express it respectfully. They did check the drains in Caleb's case. There was also a couple manholes uncovered. Wasp was just as bad too. Yeah, it's true. You're right, Candy Wrapper.
There is so many children in Tennessee that's just, it's just
It-
like they're just like a vapor. They just go. They're gone.
It's horrible. It's horrible. It's scary. It's sad. There's so many children around the world, quite frankly.
Well,
And
yeah, all around the world. And the thing about Tennessee, of course, I know it's that way in other places, but when summer
Chesterfield.
comes and the leaves and stuff gets on, it is terrible terrain. I know. I take my Jeep out and I climb everything. I climb everything with that thing, and I do it by myself. And I go out so far. I go miles off the road, and it is so thick and so harsh here.
Right.
It's
That's why
harsh.
in the fall, I'm sure another search will begin because the foliage won't be as much. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many places. Look at what this was just posted. Today, I'll begin coverage on Sebastian Rogers. Before we officially got involved, we had to have a serious conversation. I'm not a YouTuber. Bullshit. I'm not a streamer. Bullshit. I chase untold stories. Bullshit. We chase escaped prisoners. Twice. I reminded the team that we don't just cover a story, we commit to it. Bullshit. We are here until we find Sebastian. To my friendly little trolls, oh yeah, this is real professional. Tui, like making making a meme. Like, you got time for memes right now? You want us to take you serious? Okay. Sebastian has become my mission. We are relentless. We are unyielding. Also, to those suggesting we receive tips, I assure you, we won't kidnap the child who might have been abducted. We aim to rescue him. You're a fucking nobody out of a small neighborhood with no credentials other than, like me, an idiot with access to the internet. But to those responsible, the moment we catch even a faintest scent is on. You already have your mind made up. And to those advocating for the rights of the parents, what about Sebastian's rights? What, you mean that those advocating you don't have a right to fucking drug people? Excuse us, sorry. Does he not count because he's missing? Don't ever insult those of us who've been here since day one as you jump on late. You can bet your bottom dollar that the family consents and the law allows will utilize truth serum. You're an idiot. I apologize if I'm disrupting this peculiar narrative surrounding the case, but today we begin sledgehammering through the noise. I welcome trolls. I bet you do. It's the only attention you'll get. Bring your friends. We can find Sebastian. Why is he already acknowledging drama? If this man is professional and this man is here for the right reasons, why is he already knee deep in the drama?
Exactly.
The Haktui, that we welcome the trolls. You know, I thought you're some big badass professional. You guys got your attorney, you got your bounty hunter, you're world renowned. But this is your entrance. Let's read your message. You know, this will be a big commitment, right? If we get involved, there's no going back till we find a kid. It could be a year-long thing or a week or indefinite. To your agent. To your agent. Oh, shut up. Spare us the dramatics. This isn't a fucking episode of 48 hours. This is so weird. This is
Well, if
no other than Nick.
if Sebastian did meet his demise, in the woods this summer, or this winter, we're going to have a lot of hunters out there. We're going to have duck hunters. We're going to have turkey hunters. We're going to have deer hunters.
Right. Somebody's bound to come across them.
Yeah.
If that's the
Granny.
scenario.
Can I just put this whole truth serum thing to bed for everybody real quick? Because this part of it is really starting to just aggravate the holy fart out of me.
Right, because
Okay.
you can't get a confession out of
God
somebody under
forbid.
truth serum, for fuck's sake. It's
Well,
weird.
not only that, but not only have certain drugs that they're claiming they're going to use on people been banned in the United States from being imported, which makes it illegal to possess in the United States, especially since it's only got a shelf life of, like I said, 6 days. Let me tell you this much. Unless it is being used medically, like for a victim who has repressed memories, right? And their doctor is using, and not sodium typenol, by the way, because it's completely illegal, but only a doctor that has legit reasons, like trying to help a victim or someone going through PTSD or something like that, is using these drugs to help that person overcome their trauma. Then there is no legal application or medical application for them to be using those drugs. Therefore, there is no legal reason. And
Right.
there will be no legal
I mean,
reason for them to use the drugs.
who does
Sorry.
this? Who do they think they are? Again, these people that change their presence based on whatever they're doing, right? Like, oh, I'm not a streamer. I'm not this. I'm not. No, you're a makeshift fucking media company that claims you're so well known, but nobody's ever heard of you. That's what you
Yeah.
are. And
Like-
now all of a sudden you're like special agents that grab people and truth serum and hypnotize them. You're a joke.
Greeny, it's almost laughable because, like, legally, literally, under the care of a physician and it being used for actual medical purposes, using sodium fentanyl, you guys, that is literally what they use in lethal injections to kill people.
And you mean to tell me
Okay, it's
these
that
goofballs are
dangerous.
able to come in and do this?
Exactly. Bing bong.
Well, respectfully, Bonnie's, we already addressed it. I don't know if you're like slow to type in or something, but we kind of moved along. We did welcome your opinion. We apologize you felt that way. Sorry again, okay? So even SF Gaze over here says this might be the most terrifying post I've ever seen. You can't just sit here and claim that you are going to drug people.
Yeah, and rohypnol, like that. Whenever I read that, not in this one, but whenever I read it in the other one, I was like, it is literally illegal to use rohypnol on someone unless you are a licensed psychologist using it for antipsychotherapy. Okay, like what in the world? Do they have a doctor that is willing to practice malpractice on people and risk using his license because these drugs are only able to be used by a licensed physician?
Well, I don't know. Check their website tomorrow. They might suddenly be doctors. Who knows? These people are unbelievable.
Like it just what? You know?
Like who even comes out and says this? Like who in their right mind even makes such a statement that this is what they're going to do? These world renowned private investigators, like the elite. They're known amongst the elite.
Like these are drugs that without being a licensed physician and prescribing them or having them in your possession without a prescription, you're going to go to prison. And some of these are so illegal that you can't get that prescription or have them legally. So you're going to prison if they're found in your possession. So I'm just sitting here looking at all this like, what is going on?
I know. So I mean, honestly, it's hard not to laugh at because we're talking about a reality show has been a little local felon criminal near me. I'm being honest, and a criminal defense attorney coming out mentioning that they're renowned, through the elite, and they're going to do all these. I mean, it's almost like a very bad script for a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, I agree. They'll
Y'all, okay.
It's weird.
They put Guantanamo outside of the United States so that they could use these kind of drugs on people. Okay.
Right. I mean, these are highly dangerous substances, and it's mind-boggling. I think this idea came from Seth and Tony's think tank. I mean, it really is. And I know, like, we're laughing about it, but like SF is saying over here, no, this is serious. This
No,
is
it is very serious. I'm sorry. It's just the audacity.
No, I know. I mean, it's comical because it's like, wow, these, like, who the fuck are you people? But then it's also like, well, in all actuality, this is a missing child. And these are some weirdos that are coming in and claiming they're just going to start hypnotizing and drugging people.
Right. But Granny, read that again and look at it closely and tell me that's not written almost like they're saying, we've used these drugs on Seth so we know he's telling the truth. Right? I mean, really?
I mean, they kind of did imply that that's what it was meant to be. Like, oh no, we meant for those that are willing for our service. Let me read it because they did correct it. Correction, September 4th, 2024. Upon review, we identified an error in the earlier news release that mentioned this includes conducting various tests, blah, blah, blah. These substances employed in control settings are part of At-Night's approach to extract critical information from those unwilling. They say this statement was provided as an example and was incorrect. We clarify that should any test be conducted by our client, now they're referring to Seth, that should any test be conducted by our client, all materials related to these tests will be shared exclusively with law enforcement. So now they're saying, no, we just meant Seth. Oh, was I showing it or not? What did I just do? Sorry. Right here. Tests should be conducted by our client, which is Seth Rogers. Oh, God. A song for Betty. Is it good?
Wow. We clarified that any test should be no.
All procedures will
No.
be conducted in strict adherence to applicable laws and regulations. The decision on further action will be determined solely by law enforcement authorities. Again, they said the unwilling. Like they were going to ninja style, just pull up on people and put them in a headlock and throw them in the fan and drive off and then, hypnotize them and give them some truth serum. And I mean, it was very, again.
True lies. It was very true lies.
Yes.
Like the movie True Lies, because that's what it made me think of.
I mean, it reminds me of again, I didn't even think of that one, but yes, it reminds me of an episode of some makeshift movie. It's weird. And the fact that these people that want us to take them as, professional, they want us to take them as these big badasses that are coming in to do what nobody else could do. Everybody better be afraid. This is their entrance? What a joke. And then even over here, showing us your weak private ass messages that nobody, quite frankly, gives a shit about. Or telling us all to, Tui, you professional fucking clown.
Granny, that is literally what they did to Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie True Lies. With the truth serum. And it was literally sodium typenol. Yes.
So these people watch too much TV and then they watch too much YouTube.
Oh, man.
Wow. Wow. Put a 1 in the chat if you think this is just so fucking bizarre. Put a 2 if you're like, yeah, they're going to save the day. Definitely unwilling last night. You're kidding me. They rewrote the definition of unwilling. Like they weren't going to hold people against their will and just, truth serum up. They're going to hypnotize them. This is so weird. How can you even change what that means? It literally states those unwilling to participate will be drugged up, kidnapped, hypnotized. Holy shit. Honestly, support Seth or not, everybody should have been concerned with that statement. Everybody should be concerned with the lengths these clowns are willing to go and pretend to be. Right, Jane? Who the hell's doing
I find it's so absurd. You guys, this post is so absurd. Like, if you know anything, if you know anything about any of the things that they're actually talking about, you read this post and go, this was written by someone that wants to be a ninja.
Oh, of course she would, Kelly J. She changes the definition of words every day. That's what I'm saying. This is written by somebody who watches too much TV, who probably played Mortal Kombat too much, and also at the same time pays too much attention to social media. I mean, again, if these people were here for the right reasons, would this post right here be full of drama to my little friendly trolls? Hawk Tui? Sebastian has become my mission. We are relentless. We welcome you, trolls. Is that what you're here for? The drama? Are you serious professionals that were hired by and well renowned by the elite? Not living in reality. This is
right. You guys, this is like call me Bond. James Bond. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, but that's the reason I laugh. It's that absurd.
Meanwhile, Regina, you get a 71-year-old man who's kind of, quite frankly, he's not the dog, the bounty hunter from 20 years ago. He's a lot more fragile. He's kind of, he has his production. He puts on his makeup. And then you get an overweight little guy that nobody even knows. That's who's really entering the scene right now. And everybody's like, yay! Right? Who plus the elite? Delusional people. Delusional people.
Well, this day and time, I'm not surprised somebody just got on a high and never left. It's all I can say.
Maybe they're taking their own hallucinists, and they now think that they're like secret agents for the FBI or something. Hey, Bernice. Maybe that's what's going on.
Have you noticed how many of the nut jobs are coming out of the woodwork, literally acting like 007 agents, going and doing like, listen, if you really want to break it down, this is being done all over in this case. How many people have you seen literally not go check anything new or suggest anything new in an area to search for Sebastian, but have literally went and walked in circles on the same part that 150 other people have walked over before?
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
So at this point, I think it would be safe to say that if Sebastian were in any of these areas, he's likely somewhere like was in the Caleb. And I'm not saying anything happened to Sebastian. I'm saying if he is, you know what I mean, right?
Right, right.
Okay.
You're saying if there is the chance, then he's going to be close to home. I mean, that's a given. I know SF Investigate said he gives a marker where he believes the area would be. I know Chris Proudfoot said before he's begged for the search to be expanded. I know even Seth Rogers has expanded the search, and he's not looking so close to home. But the chances of him being close to home are very, very high. Get it
Right.
She's married to Seth. Chris said this would be a case to remember. They knew Seth would make it a circus. Seth can't basically threaten to date our drug people. You're right, Snazzy. You're right. Thank you for the super chat. You're right. This is scary. This has gotten, I mean, again, it's comical on the aspect of these people think they're reliving their, I mean, are they going to be dressed up as fucking Ninja Turtles? Are they going to come out in all black driving their van that's busted down and beat up? It's comical in that aspect, but then on the actual, if you really think about the seriousness of what these people are saying here, it is scary. It is
He's threatening.
concerning.
You guys, this post is threatening to use. Okay, for everyone that doesn't know it, sodium typenol is actually the drug that stops your heart during lethal injection. They banned it in the United States because they don't use it in lethal injections anymore because of how like bad it is. It's torturous.
Well, if you look around and you see how people are doing now, you know, it's like The Walking Dead. I mean, it is. They're just out there.
It's so over the top for me, like knowing, you know, a little bit about this stuff. And it's like, it's so laughable. Like, who could take this seriously? But you know what? The fact remains, if
That
any
they're
of this
being
in any
serious.
part is serious, that is some scary, scary stuff.
And just like Glitter is Forever just said, you got the fact that these are the spokesmen for Bill Cosby, right? This was Bill Cosby's team right here. And what did Bill Cosby do? He used similar drugs to allegedly commit his crimes. That's a great point, Glitter is Forever. Is that where they got the idea? Is that where they're getting the drugs?
Is that where they're getting the drug? That's
right.
Bingo.
I'm telling you, this is, I mean, again, there's the comical aspect of it. And then there's the, is this fucking real? Do these nobody say they can come in and hold people against their will and drug them up? I mean, if I was Katie and Chris, oh my gosh. Even Seth, if I was Seth, I'd be like, wait a minute. And yet Tony was promoting this. Did Tony come out and say, you know what? We're not really down with this whole truth serum aspect. This is a little weird here.
It's scary where we're headed. I'm not talking politics. I'm just talking down to earth. The way things are working out, it's scary. That's why I make my own medicine. I forge my own stuff. I do everything on my own because we're looking at some bad times, y'all, and we can see this in people today.
Yeah.
Not only that, but okay, why on God's green earth would you have access to the date R drug and sodium typenol?
Well, they work with Bill Cosby, right? There you go.
Right. What other reasons would anyone have for having it? You know what I'm saying?
No, you should be concerned. And you know, I said I was going to bring up this person's past, but you know what? I'm going to for a minute. So when you look into Nick, and again, I usually don't judge people by their past. I don't like doing this, but he does have a history of hiring, you know, women to taunt his neighbors. He hires prostitutes, quite frankly, and then he calls the cops on his neighbors saying that they're running sex rings. So it's fucking weird. It's weird.
Well, let me tell you what they're doing here in this place, this area. They're taking these. You remember these old screen doors that they're made out of aluminum. They're taking these doors, storm doors. They're burning them, and when they cool down, there's a white powder that comes off of these screen doors.
Are you talking about addicts?
Yeah, and
Aluminum oxide.
Yeah, and they scrape it, and they're high for weeks. A friend of
Well,
mine.
maybe that's what these people did. Maybe they scraped white doors and now they think they're ninjas. I don't fucking know. This whole thing's weird. And Snazzy, you're right. Katie was allegedly abused as a child, and here we are. An ex-husband threatening his drug when he has been saying that she's responsible, and they're coming in on Steph's team. They're coming in on Steph's team. It's scary.
Yeah, it is. It's very scary. And to put this child, the search for this child at risk of all of these nuts that's out there doing this stuff, and we don't know what some of them is doing behind the scenes.
Well, and this is the problem when you have people like Betty out here and some of these others that shall not be mentioned that are screaming that the Proud Boys are responsible. And then you get these nut jobs, these weirdos that live in a fantasy world thinking they're going to come in and hold people hostage and drug them.
Yeah.
That's why Betty has a restraining order against her. It's not just what Betty's doing, it's what she's inciting others to do.
Well, it needs to stick. She needs to just quit her job, because I start with a lot of this with the false narratives of what she has said and done.
Right, of course.
Those type of people needs to just be done with it. Find another job.
Well, now she's all, hyped back up by the idea that her friend dogged a bounty hunter.
Oh, she thinks she brought him in?
Betty.
Oh,
What do
she
you
thinks that she got this big $50,000
right, that she's the one that got this out there too.
Yeah, she pushed him.
Which ironically, Betty on one hand wants us all to believe that Seth knew this reward was coming up. It's not the new information, because remember, Seth made a post and said, I called the police, they told me they had an update, but they won't tell me till tomorrow. Why does my son have to wait till tomorrow? Then the new update was the reward money. Then Betty tried taking credit for the reward money. Well, how can you take credit that your protest caused that if they were already aware this reward money was coming? Doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Oh, good luck. Good luck.
You know what?
Inspector Gadget on Tuesday.
Do y'all remember Betty's famous last words? I guarantee you, Terry Bauer Soggs, you'll go to jail before I do.
Oh,
you'll be arrested before I.
Yeah, I do.
What?
What do you think,
Lord
SS?
And the sad part about it is her mama eggs her on with this. Is what I'm saying.
Well, cheered her right into some legal situations.
She evidently likes it, going to jail.
Yep.
Now that would terrify me.
What are you thinking here, SS? Are you there? Okay, he's not there.
Okay, Granny, I'm going to jump off here. Thank you for having me, and everyone have a great day.
It is always a pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thank you,
God
darling.
bless you, sweetie.
Bless you, sweet darling, and y'all have a good one.
You
and
as well.
I'll continue to listen.
Thank you.
Everyone
so
have
sweet.
a great one.
You as well. SF doesn't take these statements lightly. I've never seen SF speak out of line. I take what he says very seriously. He believes something seriously wrong, and I believe him. Yes, we have these goofballs coming in talking about drugging people. It's beyond serious. It is beyond serious. They can't do anything without a doctor. Is it Dr. Bill Cosby? I can't believe this, Regina. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, that's the reason I was telling you earlier. Like these drugs are so controlled that only certain licensed people are allowed to administer them. Like not even a regular doctor like a family doctor, a practitioner with a medical license would be able to prescribe Rohypnol. Only a licensed psychologist.
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's not just the school that you go to that makes you a doctor. You can prescribe things. This is secondary schools you have to go to be able to prescribe some of these drugs. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how
No, I do.
serious these drugs are.
That's why SF wrote what he wrote. Like, listen, you know, all things aside, like this needs to be the law enforcement needs to be alerted of what these people are claiming they are going to do. Now, here's the thing. I don't care which side you're on. I don't care if you're Team Proudfoot, Team Seth Rogers. I don't care either way. You cannot look at what they stated they were going to do and not find it concerning. If you are Team Seth Rogers, imagine the Proudfoot hired somebody and they wrote this about Seth. You would not like it. You would not agree with it. If you're proud, either way you put it, it is not okay what they're stating here.
You guys listen, even if someone signed a written statement agreeing to have these drugs used on them for the sole purpose of like a truth serum, it still wouldn't be legal. And the doctor that prescribed, first of all, some of them are illegal to have, period. Okay,
Right.
period. But second of all, some of these, in order for a doctor to prescribe it for that circumstance, it would be illegal. They would lose their practice and their licensing over it.
Rightfully so. I wish there weren't signs either, Love, Live, and Light. I really do. I wish there weren't signs either. But you know what? That's the tone that was every story, and I hate to say it this way. I won't say every story. Every case needs a hero and a villain to get traction here on YouTube. And hey, maybe in some type of way, some type of format, maybe Seth did good by doing that because he kept Sebastian's name out here, right? But unfortunately, at the expense of the safety of Katie, who is, again, think she's guilty or not, she hasn't been named. None of them are named suspects, not publicly anyhow, but none of them were cleared. But she's still the mother of Sebastian. How can people, I argued this many years ago. You can't claim to love a child. Many of these people are oddly out here saying, but I love Sebastian. We love Sebastian. Sebastian Army. We're here for Sebastian. You cannot fully love and respect that child while putting down his mother the way you do. Seth takes and confesses they cannot use his confession in a court of law. No. Right. That's how you know Ali's not signing this. There are people thinking that maybe Ali's, part of this and they hired them in. I just don't find it possible.
I agree. SSIOps. This is not, that's the whole thing. Like, if they're really doing this or planning on doing this, like, holy wow, they're all going to go to prison. All of them. But if they're not planning to do this, because this honestly sounds like someone who has watched way too many movies and knows just enough to sound stupid, if that makes sense.
Right.
But either this is, like I said, either 100%, ooh, I think I'm 007, and this is a bunch of nonsense they've written just trying to look awesome. You know what I mean? Whenever it does quite the opposite, or someone is going to go to jail if they actually do this. And people could actually die.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Seth agreed to undergo it because it says right here, if he agrees. We clarify that should any test be conducted by our client, all materials related to these tests will be shared exclusively. And if he agreed to it, why would they say the unwilling? The unwilling. Doesn't make sense. It's really sad. Oh, it's really sad. Cosplay. Yeah. Over 6 months, Bernice. I think 6 months and 1 week. It's about where we're at. Well, Regina, I think I'm going to wrap this up. It's just baffling to me.
Right on. Thank you for having me so much, Granny. I appreciate it. You're
Thank
such a
you.
gracious host.
And
You're
thank you
such a
for
gracious
sharing
host.
with us that these aren't even legal in the United States. Like, I don't know where you're getting it from, buddy.
Yeah, like I thought that was important to highlight for everyone, like the validity of what's being said. You
Absolutely.
know, I thought it was important.
Absolutely. And I think it's great that SF Investigates did as well, because, again, that is serious.
Very serious.
Look
Very
at,
serious.
I can't believe this. I got to show this again. Hiding America's most wanted fugitives and chasing the untold stories. Most wanted fugitives. I've only seen two, but whatever. But I can't get over this part. This part to insult us, little trolls, hawk tui. But this right here, Regina, I don't know. Maybe it's because we've been on this since day one. Maybe it's because we're not jumping on right now and, offering a significant amount of money and making our presence so well known that like everybody's talking about it and we're trying to, be in the spotlight. But the fact that he says here, and those advocating for the rights of the parents, what about Sebastian's rights? Does he not count because he's missing? Does anybody else feel like insulted by that? Like, how dare you?
Yeah. Yeah. But then again, I kind of feel insulted by all of it because really,
yeah,
for them to put that kind of stuff out and try to sound all big and fancy with words that they really don't understand, because if they did, they would know what they were printing was going to make them culpable to conspiracy to commit felonies, which is exactly what that is, by the way. That post in itself is conspiracy to commit felonies.
Right. Right.
Okay. I mean, from a legal standpoint, I'm just saying, I'm not a lawyer, but I study law. I love studying law. I hate lawyers, but I love studying law. And
oh, really, Regina? I could have used your help. And here's the other thing with that, right? I want other people to remember this. I met these people during the search for Danilo Cavalcante. What I will tell you is they had a bunch of fancy smancy equipment and a bunch of beers, but they did have a bunch of fancy smancy equipment, but they spent majority of their time sitting in a van behind a camera. They weren't out boots on the ground searching in this manhunt. They mainly sat parked next to a fucking field of corn. Children on the corn style. Yeah, and then why say we're not going to kidnap the child we're there to rescue? That, I don't know. Like, why would you even say that, right? Listen to what people say when they shouldn't be saying anything. Why would they say that? What do you think of that, Regina? We're not going to kidnap the child we're there to rescue. I think it's weird. A weird undertone. And then how about all of them highlighting how 100K is a lot of money. Even if you're wealthy, 100K is a lot of money. Oh, Jill, my friend, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships.
I don't know on anything that has to do with suicides, Granny. I'm gonna tell you just straight out, like, I suspect them all as suspects because none of them are cleared by law enforcement standards.
Absolutely.
But
There's red flags with each of them.
yes, ma'am, exactly. So I suspect all of them until Sebastian is found or we know what happened to him. Okay,
right?
Equally, they're equally yoked. But
no, not for me. I got a little biased.
In my opinion, on whenever it comes to Seth Rogers, I think everything and anything that he has done past his initial I can't find my son has been for the money, and he feels like a rock star. I think he got a little taste of attention whenever he's been alone and stuff for a very long time since Katie left him, hence why he's still bitter towards Katie. And I think that he got a little bit of that attention and realized he could get money off of it, and everything has been a money grab, attention seek.
So I actually agree with you. And I said this during my phone communication the other day. I said, for me, I think this is somebody who kind of just participated in life, but didn't really ever get seen or stood out or, nothing, special about it. And then all of a sudden, thank you so much, True Crime's good to see you, Lenny. All of a sudden, you get this man who's done the bare minimum, in my opinion, as far as parenting an adult and goes, he just recently got back on his feet. He was a stay-at-home dad, allegedly. He went a year without seeing them, whatever it may be. He sees them, 4 times a month. Most times he's at work, whatever. But he finally got a chance to be on this pedestal in which he said himself, it was mainly housewives, mainly women. And everybody was telling him, oh, Seth, you're an amazing dad. Oh, Seth, you're such a great guy. And he was also even able to put out his horrible narrative on his ex, who in his eyes destroyed his nuclear family. So not only did he get praise and attention, he also got his revenge on Katie, and he got money. And don't ever forget, he gave $12K of it away. Okay. In my opinion, he gave $12K of that money away to a woman that he met through the disappearance of his child.
Bingo.
That is horrible.
And you know what? That right there in itself, because if y'all will remember, he told everybody, my sister set that GoFundMe up so I could pay my bills while I was looking for my son. Okay, well then why did you pay Michaela's bills with them instead of doing anything productive with it for your son?
Well, and don't forget when he was confronted on that the other day, what did Tony say? Well, Seth doesn't even he has to ask his sister for permission for that money. So apparently that money's not, when Steph's over there saying, do they want to look at my bank of records? That money's not even in his bank records. That money's still sitting in his sister's hands, according to them.
And let me remind everyone of something. Law enforcement did not tell Seth Rogers that he could not put up a reward for his son. They said they weren't going to arrange it at that time.
Right. They didn't say you can't.
Bingo.
Right. Right. Only when she was in the military for insurance for her son. Right. I know I'm really harsh against Seth. I know I am. Again, I'm not saying that man did anything. I'm not saying he didn't. I just don't like the way he's taken his son's disappearance, made it about himself, made it about money, and turned it into a literal reality TV show by now introducing these clowns.
Oh, I clown on all of them too. Seth strikes me as, and I'm not trying to be a psychologist here, but just from what I know about things, Seth strikes me as someone that is a codependent personality that mirrors behaviors of anyone he thinks is cool. Katie strikes me as a dissociated personality type, and Chris Proudfoot strikes me as an arrogant jerk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just, I don't like any of them. And that's by what they have demonstrated.
Right.
Their own behaviors, actions, and words.
See, to me, I can understand Chris's arrogance. I take it as confidence, but I can see why others take it as, arrogant and even dislike him for it. To me, I see a man that was confident. He was confident in the fact that he's not guilty. He's confident in protecting his wife, but I see why others feel differently. And there's a few things, like I said, I see the red flags in each one of them. They're just not as bright red to me. They're just not waving as loudly to me. He is a known liar. He's an absolute known liar, from the fact that he says Sebastian couldn't tell time, didn't know timing, to him lying that Sebastian would be standing outside 7 minutes early waiting for daddy to come home from work. That somehow Sebastian even knew when Seth Rogers would be done work early. But yet he wants us all to believe that this child didn't know time, had paid no attention to time. Then how do you end up in the driveway early? How do you know when you come home? It's just too much for me.
Well, Granny, I am still fighting COVID, and it is time to take some Tylenol before I start feeling like poop again. So I just want to say thank you for having me so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You are such a gracious host to all of your guests.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I appreciate you. And don't let any of that other petty stuff get you, because honestly, everybody, Granny, it seems like out here is just out for their part of the attention from the circus. Mm-hmm. So don't even worry about it.
Like I said in my community post, for somebody that has more views than me, subs, to worry about views, again, Listen to what people are saying. Why is she worried about views? Why would you think I'm worried about views? Because that's what you're worried about. I haven't even touched Sebastian's case. I've been talking about a whole different subject that many people weren't aware of. When's the last time we've seen her take that dive and take that chance? She won't, because there's security in this topic. She knows it. She's riding it out, and that's why she's talking about views. I'm not worried about the views. But it's funny, the comparison there is just, again, people say a lot. They say a lot when they don't even realize they're saying a lot. Snowflakes has it as well. I'm sorry to hear that. But no,
Well,
you're right. I appreciate
I'm not
it.
trying to be funny or talk bad about anybody, but there's a real difference in what you see, Granny, from people who depend on their YouTube channels to pay their bills and the people that are dedicated to it because they actually care about what they're talking about.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, this is my income as well. I am dependent on it, but not so much so that I'm going to sell my soul.
Right.
Not that much so. And if I was, I'd be live a lot longer, be alive a lot more. There'd be big differences going on.
Can I ask you
Of
something?
course she did, Andy. She's so fucking jealous. It's weird. Stop watching me, bitch. Yes.
Did you start doing this because you cared about it and it just because you grew over time, you become dependent on it? Or did you see it as a means to an end when you started your channel?
No, I didn't think it would be anything, to be honest with you.
Exactly. There's the difference.
Well, and you know what? You're right.
Some
Because
people are doing this for the money.
I know without a doubt that person held fundraisers as just a subscriber. Just a subscriber and a panel guest. That person right there held fundraisers. So I know without a doubt that she started the channel with the instinct of making money. You're right.
See,
good point.
Now I already knew that before I asked you that question.
Yep, that's so funny. I forgot about that.
There you go. So,
touche, my friend. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Well, I hope you feel better.
Thank you so much. God bless you, and thank you for having me.
Of course.
You have amazing mods in here, by the way.
Thank you. They are amazing.
They are really amazing. All right. You have a blessed day, honey.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We've been through the ringer together, haven't we, mods? Granny has come so freaking proud of her. Thank you so much, Andy. That means a lot to me. Yeah, I listen, as much as I do know that, she needs a new outlet, right? She's always out there crying about what nonsense is doing this, nonsense is doing that. I know you want new attention, but not with me. I got other things going on. I ain't worried about you. Let's check this out from a minute ago. Thank you so much for telling me. In the search for Sebastian Rogers, I still believe the 9 priority zones in the north of his last known sighting offer the highest probability of detection. It is most likely that he is within 1 mile of the house. Although SAR teams have previously searched this area, they conducted hasty searches, and the privately owned land is covered in thick brush that requires a more thorough search. Did they ever bring out the helicopters that can detect heat? Thank you, Lenny. She better stop playing, though, because I'll do a bash for cash all day with you, sweetheart. I am confident that new searches by professional teams will occur soon, I believe, too, because, the foliage is going to be gone, without prior notice to the public or press. While I initially did not suspect foul play, recent and escalating red flag behaviors have raised concerns, and I'm considering it. However, search efforts based on established search and rescue models must continue while the proper law enforcement agencies investigate any foul play. So on September 5th, look at what he is marking. These are his markers where he believes my favorite be on these streets. Colleen, thank you so much for the PayPal. Thank you. They brought out the heat-seeking drones. That's how they caught Danilo. That man was all in the high brush as well. Well, that's what it is for her, Lenny. That's the only reason she does this stuff. She'll poke. Don't think I haven't seen her and getting screenshots of her in these other little areas running her little fucking mouth. And then when you respond, she's like, yo, they just won't let me do my content. Just leave me alone. Shut up. So this would be interesting. If he's right on this would be interesting. Possible outbuilding. Water. High priority water, too. Last known sighting. He thinks he's around here. What are these flags? What do you guys think? You think SS has a, you know? Oh, wait. Isn't that attorney name the same name? Seth? Seth gave on T-Res when Seth wanted names and addresses to Cash App donations. He said he was not dealing with it. His attorney was. I think that was a female attorney, wasn't it? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. That's what they do. True Crime with Eve. That's exactly why they do it. It's drama, and drama sells. It's a bash for cash. It's gross. I won't be doing it with Sebastian's name in my title. I promise you that. I bet you she will. I won't. Down the hallway, someone your friend were fighting these men. Yes, absolutely. We can tell who was shoved into lockers, couldn't we? I believe the FBI believes he was taken across state lines. Do you? Something on every live, and her Make It Rain Green every time she has missing children. And you know, it was pointed out that across her banner, she doesn't even have Sebastian's name found correctly. How about that? Pretty gross. Pretty gross. Making it rain, join the green team, all that with the child's name, hashtag. Yeah, pretty gross. Think he's very intelligent, definitely worth following. That I agree with, B. All right, my friends, I appreciate you all sticking out and spending this morning with me. We can tell who was for sure. Really means a lot. This just because phone call you got yesterday. Right. Because if I was a scumbag like her, I would have came out and said, this is what Chris said to me. This is how long we were on the phone. This is what the conversation pertained. But I'm not. And when somebody asks me to keep this private, I keep it private. If there was anything I thought was significant, that you know, even an ask of privacy would not, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. If it was anything I thought was significant, I wouldn't care if they asked it to be private. But it's not. Her whole speech at the beginning of her streams. Meanwhile, she showed her backstage. She's making $5K. Over $5K. Lord have mercy. Blessed be. Blessed be, right? That's all we can say is blessed be. Do your thing. But make sure this is really what you want, because I'm telling you, I'm not playing around. Just mind your business over there. I did. That guy's also... Oh, good point, Pamela. We might have to touch on that in the next round. But that man's also in the same area as me, Nick, all of us. Very good point. You as well, Southern Sass. I try to maintain a Colleen, but some of these people be pushing it, man. Well, 12K saved our house, didn't it? What did she get out of it? Sneaking in his phone while he was sleeping? How? Ooh. And the 12K? I agree, PB&J. It's none of her business. Don't talk about her. Not Backpage. She showed her backstage. Showed her backstage in a show she was making $5K. Oh, anyway, this was a very right, Regina. That's why she needs it. She needs it. We all know what this is. This was a very productive stream. I don't want to, you know, start it and end it on that note. It's not what matters here. If you haven't, please consider hitting the thumbs up. She sure did. And she kept raising it. Every time the goal was close to being met, she kept raising it. Then we found out, on top of having that fundraiser, she reached out to a creator whose community was sponsoring Christmases, and she also had her children sponsored for Christmas. So not only did she have the fundraiser, but she also was sponsored. Now, there was a limit that the creator was offering. It wasn't going to cover a whole Christmas. Not even going to lie and pretend it was. Nonetheless, she didn't divulge that. Matter of fact, she joined in on bashing that creator, and that's why that creator divulged their conversation, that she was helping her. And of course, who wants to take a wild guess who Brittany was conversing with in private to that creator about? Me! Shocker, I know. Anyway, if you haven't, please consider hitting the thumbs up, and let's try to end this on a more positive note. Let's be mindful of what this is meant to be about and who this is meant to be about. These are still the only facts we have. Everything else is speculation based off what we've heard. But as far as facts go, this is all we have with the facts. On February 26, 2024, an Amber Alert went out for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian is white, 5'5", 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Sebastian was last seen wearing a black long-sleeve shirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. He has a medical condition that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance. If you have seen Sebastian or have information regarding his whereabouts, please contact the Sumner County Emergency Center or TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Let's take this moment to pray for Sebastian's safe return.